Berlin Olsen, when these two teams meet, there seems to always be an explosion. Will we see it today?
Charlie, I think we're going to see it. The quality of the offenses dictates big plays, but there are two guys who say it's not going to happen. Tom Olivadotti and Ralph Hawkins, the two defensive coordinators, and they say we're going to pour water on that excitement and we're going to stop that explosion.
The New York Jets won the toss, and they will be receiving with JoJo Townsell and Bobby Humphrey, the deep backs. Pete Stoyanovich will be kicking off for the Miami Dolphins. And at the 5-yard line, it is Bobby Humphrey on the return. Out to the 20, a nice return to the 25-yard line. So give him 20 yards on the return. Now, offensively for the New York Jets, they have a line that is in search of consistency. Their backs and receivers, they are led by quarterback Ken O'Brien. The Jets will show a lot of 3 wide, and that means that Roger Vick will be coming out, and JoJo Townsell will come in to replace him. First down from the 25-yard line. And O'Brien comes out throwing far side. He goes to Al Toon. He leans forward to the 30. And he has 5. It'll be second down and 5. For the Miami defense, their front 7. Number 70, Brian Soche on the nose. Now, he could well be the key. When Miami goes to their nickel package, all 4 linebackers will come out. And David Fry, Eric Kummerow, Rodney Thomas, and Ernest Gibson will come in. Miami secondary, they've got a pair of young safeties. They think they're linebackers. They hit like they're linebackers. Second down and 5. Toon in motion. Pass is complete. Coming back to help, it is Freeman McNeil. And he needed 5, and he gets 6 to the 31, and he's got the first down.
Charlie, Freeman McNeil comes in leading the AFC with 12 catches. And I said, Freeman, why are you such a big part of that pass game? I know you've been able to catch in the past. He said, it's very simple. With all the holdouts, we just started pushing my number into that pass pattern a little bit more often. And he said, it's working. Why not stay after it?
Is he back in the huddle pushing at 24?
Well, he likes to be a big part of the action. I'd say he makes people miss out there, too.
It's a first down, New York. Ball game just underway. Little play action. And over the middle, this pass is complete to Roger Vick, the fullback. And so the Jets coming out just 5 yards at a pop against the defense of Miami.
Big difference between these two offenses. I was talking to Kyle Mackey, who's a quarterback that played for Don Shula, and of course now is a backup quarterback for O'Brien. And one of the Miami Dolphins down on the field.
Rick Graff, I believe it is.
99, probably.
Yes.
Anyway, Charlie, Kyle Mackey said that the big difference between these two teams is that Marino and the Dolphin offense will take it deep more often and tend to gamble a little more. The Jets offense, a ball control offense. Short throws, much more heavily dependent on the running game.
O'Brien comes out with the hot hand. 3 out of 3. For 16 yards, as Graff will come out for at least one play.
Trainer Bob Lundy helping him off the field.
E.J. Jr. replaces him. The Jets have not scored in the first quarter in their first 2 ball games this season. Second down. Roger Vick, no gain.
You said that Brian Soche might make the difference. He certainly did on that play. Knifing in from his nose tackle position. No one plays that quick angle game, the quick hand shiver game, right in the middle of your picture. Look how quickly he is to the outside. On the draw play, you're trying to push a man any way he wants to go, but if he gets by too quickly, he switches directions and comes inside.
What's hand shiver?
Hand shiver. Good use of those hands and upper body strength to keep the lineman away from him, Charlie.
Third down and 5. Jets now with 3 wide. They go with the draw inside, and it's going to be close. May not make it. Johnny Hector, the ball carrier, and so Shea again with the tackle. And the draw on 3rd down and 5, it's a brilliant call if you make it. If you come up short, it's a bad gamble. And it's going to be short. 4th down and half a yard.
Watch inside here. They're just trying to take Hector right up the middle here, but Sauché is going to come right off on his man, drive back inside. Ooh, all right. There he is, a little late arriving, but he came into your picture.
Joe Prokop will be kicking with Jarvis Williams and Troy Stratford, the deep men, on the return. And a fair catch is called for right at the last moment at the 25-yard line by Stratford. 30 yards on the kick. Now let's look at the Miami offense. Their offensive line, perhaps its biggest surprise, is the play of the rookie center, the number 5 draft choice, John Uhlenhake of Ohio State. Backs and receivers, of course, led by number 13, Dan Marino at quarterback. When the Dolphins go to their 4-wide set, then both running backs will come out along with the tight end. Jim Jensen will come into the backfield. Andre Brown and Fred Banks will join Duper and Clayton as wide receivers. First down at the 25. And Marino comes out throwing. Looks right, goes deep left. There was a blown coverage somewhere. Either that or Hasty did not pick up Duper. He was all alone. And I think Marino was surprised that he was that wide open. Defense for the Jets, front 7. Paul Fraze, number 91, is starting at nose tackle. Now when the Jets go to their dime defense, all 3 linemen will come out, along with the linebacker Troy Benson. Marvin Washington, Gerald Nichols will come in, as will Terry Williams and Michael Mitchell. Second down. Out to the near side is dropped by Mark Clayton, so it will be 3rd down and 10. The secondary for the Jets, a very aggressive secondary, young like a lot of the ball club is. They have a tendency to live or die, Merlin, by the big play.
Certainly do, and they've been hurt by injuries. Radachowski, for example, number 3, coming into the year at that strong safety position behind Rich Miano and Stephen Moore, both of whom have been injured.
We expected the early explosion from the Miami offense. A blown coverage, a man wide open. Marino misses him, and Clayton drops it. And there's Crash Jensen behind Dan Marino. Next to him now. Banks is in. Jensen has converted on 85% of the 3rd down opportunities where he's had the ball. This time there was pressure, and it was Tommy Cofield who put the pressure on. Banks the intended receiver, and it'll be 4th down. So the Miami offense not off to a very sparkling start.
Top Gun is misfiring at this point.
He hadn't got the engine started.
Well, 2 passes off target and 1 dropped.
Starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, does that kind of throw the players' rhythm off for a little while?
Charlie, players are like race horses. 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon, they're ready to play. And when you have to wait until 4 o'clock, that's, you say, wait, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's get it on. So it's been difficult for them.
Reggie Roby kicking with that distinctive style of dropping the ball.
Good bounce.
Jets will stay away from it. It'll roll inside the 25 to about the 23-yard line. 52 yards on that kick by Reggie Roby. The 10-minute ticker in the 4th quarter.
Little fisticuffs down on the field. A couple of players locked up. Looked like their jerseys were attached to each other. I don't think that was the case, but they finally got unhooked and separated.
Houston Buffalo were locked up also. These are now final. This may be the biggest upset of the decade. Pittsburgh over Minnesota, 27-14. Minnesota think they're going to the Super Bowl. Steelers, they weren't going anywhere at all. And the rest of the scores. Early games, of course, we've got late games going with ours, no score in the other 3 ball games starting at 4 o'clock Eastern time. And in the baseball, in the 8th inning, New York, and we'll get back to those in just a moment. No score here. And here's McNeil on a sweep to the right side. Good acceleration Looked as if he was going to be caught behind the line of scrimmage, and he manages to pick up a couple of yards on the play.
Hugh Green, number 55, will come from the left side of your screen. He gets right on the heels of Freeman McNeil. But Green was taken down by a knee injury 2 years ago, and he's lost just enough that he couldn't make that play. He finally pushes McNeil out, but McNeil, one of those backs that can make a 5-yard gain out of what should be a 1-yard loss.
Yep. Make it 6 to be exact. Then a 2nd down and 4 at the 30-yard line. Roger Vick. He'll have the first down at the 35-yard line. So the early offensive comparison is that the New York Jets offense looking better than the Miami offense, although the Dolphins only had the ball 30 seconds in their first possession.
We're going to have our eyes on a couple of youngsters in that secondary for the Miami Dolphins. The two safeties, of course, Jarvis Williams and Louis Oliver were teammates, both coming in as high picks. Oliver this year, and Olivedati, the defensive coordinator, very excited about them.
And we've got some jumping, pointing to the right guard, Cadigan of the Jets. That is the defense pointing and saying he moved, we were drawn offside.
Ball start, 61
I think we're right.
5-yard penalty, still first
Finds the
down.
referee.
Just to finish that thought, Charlie, even though the Dolphins are excited about their young safeties, they're talking about the fact that they're giving them great range and hitting ability. For the Jets, that's an opportunity, because they're saying young safeties are thinking, we're going to take advantage of their inexperience. There they are. I'll tell you, they are big and powerful, and they have range.
And McNeil sweep to the right side. He's got 5. He's got 10, and then he's bumped out. So he'll pick up about 13 yards with Cadigan leading the way. And Greg Clark is the man that took him out of bounds for the Dolphins. 43-yard line.
Here's Cadigan going to lead. Cadigan is going to lead that play to the outside. McNeil following in behind the block here. We just get a feeling of student body right. There they all go. And McNeil getting good blocking up front on what was expected by Miami to be a pass situation. There's a good block right there by Cadigan. Jumps offside on one play, comes back with a good lead and a good block.
Gain of 13, 2nd down and 2. Mickey Schuler in motion, stops to block, and here is McNeil for the first down. Freeman McNeil. And he has truly become the workhorse of the Jets. Dave Aaron, Plan B player out of Detroit, left inside linebacker for Miami, makes the stop.
Charlie, you saw that 2.7 average. His lifetime average is 4.5. But you've got to understand that that's an end of the season kind of an average. I think you'll see Freeman's numbers improving, and I'm sure they're much bigger than that 2.7 here today.
Yes, they are. 3 carries, 23 yards. That's over 7. Yes.
That's about 7.
Yeah,
well, he's probably
7.6.
about back to his 4-point average.
He's getting closer. Play action. That will freeze the linebackers after the successful run. Ooh. And the pass is incomplete off of Roger Vick. Did that tear him off of his shoulder pad?
Looked like it bounced off someone, and that's the most devastating of catastrophes for the quarterback who throws a good pass, has it batted up in the air, and of course it will be intercepted. Let's take a peek.
Vick delays, and then he comes out.
Oh, just batted.
Little
lucky
behind.
it was not intercepted. 26 Jarvis Williams, one of those young safeties, had his hands on it briefly, and this Miami defense has dropped 5 potential interceptions in the last 2 weeks.
And JoJo Townsell in as a wide receiver, and Freeman McNeil carries to the 49-yard line of Miami. So it'll be 3rd down and 6 after that gain of 4. We have no score here in the first quarter, 9:55 and counting at Joe Robbie Stadium on a very warm afternoon. Don Shula, the head coach of the Dolphins. The Dolphins lead the series, but the Jets have won 5 of the last 8. We mentioned at the tease of the show that Don Shula and Joe Waller, the 2 head coaches, were teammates with the Washington Redskins. They were also roommates when they played for the Redskins. They were both starting cornerbacks. 3rd down and 6. From the shotgun. Wanting to go deep, then rolling out. Looking constantly downfield and then going out of bounds. Good coverage. Credit the secondary. They shut down everybody.
And improved Miami defense. They've had 2 pretty good weeks defensively, but they were 25th in the NFL last year. And Tom Olivadotti was sweating bullets as he has worked to get young people into this lineup, to get more pressure on the quarterback, and we'll show you some good results on that side early in this quarter.
And Prokop, left-footed kicker, he hangs this one up. This is a beauty. Fair catch. And taken at the 10-yard line by Stratford. 39 yards, an excellent punt.
Prokop was knocked down last week, had a thigh problem. They didn't call a penalty on it. One of those strange plays. You said, how could they do that?
How could it not be called? Stratford bobbling the punt and then recovering it right at the 10. Average combined score the last 6 outings, 7.5 points. If we're going to have that, they're going to have to get these offenses going. I mean, let's face it. Men, we're almost 6 minutes into the ballgame. We don't have any scores. And usually it's 17-14.
Somebody poured that water on the fuse.
They did. You're right. Miami from their own 10-yard line. Second opportunity on offense. Bill Edmonds, the tight end, showing motion and then reversing it. Troy Stratford, the ball carrier. Sammy Smith, inactive for this ball game, still bothered by that ankle injury, and flags are down. Tippers are flaring very early on this warm afternoon. This is the second confrontation that we have had.
Dirty Harry Galbraith. Harry Galbraith came rolling out of there, earned the name Dirty Harry last year when he stepped on Joe Phillips, a tackle from San Diego. Ended up being fined $1,500 for his part in that little escapade.
Stepping on him?
Stomped on him.
Oh,
Stomping on him. It might be a better description.
That word is worth $1,500. The other one is not worth $1,500. Here's the referee.
We have offsetting, unsportsmanlike conduct foul. The downtown, second down.
Now, if you can read lips, and they're going to have unsportsmanlike on both sides.
There it is. Well, what did we say about stomping on Phillips?
Yes.
That's 54 Benson, I believe, the linebacker. And watch at the end. Whoop. Well, we got a machine that's falling apart a little bit.
Stomped on the machine.
There's the stomp right there.
Oh, that should
will get you in trouble.
Ooh,
they'd seen that. They may have ejected
that
it.
should have been an ejection, yes. Now their movement and pointing.
Jeff Dellenbach. Boy, I'd say that both offenses a little stiff, but certainly Miami much more so.
65 offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
We are not hearing the call of the official, a microphone.
The Dolphins, the least penalized team since Shula became coach. Now that has been last year a little bit more, and this year it's the same. So the trend is getting away from that right now. With the penalty, the ball back to the 8-yard line. Second down. Marino over the middle, and he goes to Tom Brown. 22-yard line. Needed 12. He got 14. Has his first down. Kyle Clifton with the tackle. He is dangerous.
Working on the jet safeties in this situation. Good protection for Marino. No one around Brown as he gets down and finds the opening in the zone. And this is a Jets defense under Hawkins that will be playing more zone defense, a more conservative philosophy than Bud Carson had as the Jets defensive coordinator.
First down, Miami at their own 22. Bradford. We'll give him a yard.
Talked about Sammy Smith, his absence from this game. And of course, the big back drafted as the hope for the run game here. Made an auspicious debut with over 40 yards in just a few carries last week.
He looked good, didn't he?
He certainly did. And talking to him yesterday, he had hoped to be able to play, but he just couldn't push off that ankle. And that means Troy Stratford is going to have to carry the load, and he is not a very big back.
Also, Don Shula said that Sammy Smith gives us a force without Marino. It's something that we need to really establish the running game.
Well, and Marino said, and we'll be able to throw play-action passes.
And they'll
with a big
believe it.
smile. Right.
They'll believe it. That's right. Intercepted. James Hasty with the interception.
Marino throwing outside to Clayton. And of course, Clayton held out, came in last week, had a good week. Let's see what happens. It looked like maybe Clayton quit on that pattern. Driving inside, and he just flat stopped. And Hasty, who had wonderful position, continued inside and picks up the interception. You get a feeling. Let's watch that throw. Obvious that Clayton did not continue his pattern to the inside, and boy, you can't do that to a quarterback.
So the Jets have the ball at the Miami 25. No score, first turnover. And the first big opportunity, and Freeman McNeil comes inside to the 19-yard line. Let's go to New York City and Bob Costas.
Charlie, the other New York team fared very well today. The Giants intercepted Phoenix quarterback Gary Hogeboom 4 times in the first half. This one was returned 58 yards by Terry Kennard for a touchdown. They romped 35-7. Interesting footnote, the all-time leading ground gainer in Cardinal history, as you know, is Otis Anderson. He had 98 yards today for the Giants against his old Cardinal teammates. Charlie?
All right, thank you, Bob. The other team in New York, the Jets, now with the opening threat of the ball game. McNeil to the 16. So it's 3rd down and 1, and we'll check the 10-minute ticker. Houston, Buffalo. Buffalo, that's been a seesaw close battle. San Francisco over Philadelphia by 10, and Seattle very comfortably defeating New England. The big one is Pittsburgh 27, Minnesota 14. Chicago winning big, and the Giants that Bob Costas was talking about. Washington, Dallas, Tampa Bay. Some of the scores look like baseball scores. These are the games starting along with ours. Denver and San Diego and the Rams have the early lead in those games. Outside, it is good. The pass is complete at the 10-yard line. That's Michael Harper. And he's got the first down. So the Jets convert on 3rd and 1 at the 16, and they have a first down at the 10. Maybe just outside. Let's see where they spot the ball. So they're going to mark it at the 9, so it's going to be first down and goal to go.
O'Brien had a tough week last week against the Cleveland Browns. Had a career-high 4 interceptions, and they really beat him up. And great pressure on him.
Lifetime statistics.
Charlie, the thing to look at there, the high ratio of touchdowns to interceptions. Of course, O'Brien has not played as many games as Marino, but those are good stats for both quarterbacks.
Roger Vick. He's going to actually lose about half a yard. It's going to be 2nd down and goal to go. Rick Graff makes the tackle. Touchdowns and interceptions this year.
And you will notice that both O'Brien and Marino have thrown more interceptions than touchdowns in this season. Neither quarterback off to that steady a start, so they have both had interception problems. And O'Brien led the league in interception percentage.
And that includes Marino's interception in this ball game. And we've got flags. They're going to blow the play dead. One of the Jet offensive linemen pulling out too soon. So they'll take it out just outside the 14-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and goal to go. And we have a communications problem or electronic problem with the microphone of the referee, Gene Barth, and we are working feverishly. So you'll be able to join everybody else in the stadium and listening to it.
Well, there's no communication problem there for Joe Walton, who's got his offensive coordinator, Rich Kotite, right beside him, and he is not happy with what had just happened there, which may take them out of scoring range.
At least out of touchdown range.
Hugh Green with the sack. O'Brien is not a nifty quarterback. In fact, over the past 4 seasons, only Randall Cunningham has been sacked more often than O'Brien. And look at that. Oh, who'd have believed it, Charlie? 12 sacks to lead the league. I told Tom Olivadotti, I said, do you realize that 11 sacks in 2 games projects to 88 sacks? He said, it does?
Particularly last year, they had only 25 sacks. There's Tom Olivadotti.
Tom is smiling.
25 sacks the entire season last year. As I pump fake, he's throwing this one away. He simply had run out of time. He was throwing it through the end zone. It would be 4th down and goal to go. And a standing ovation for the defense of Miami.
You want to see a surprise person, a real surprise. William Judson down there standing in the end zone, and he said, who's he throwing that ball to? Where is Judson? Turned around and there was nobody there. Ball sailing wide into the end zone.
Field goal attempt of 32 yards. And Leahy is dead on. And Pat Leahy is from 32 yards out, and the Jets take the early lead 3-0.
In that loss last week to Cleveland, Leahy had 2 early chances in that ballgame for field goals. In fact, one of them, a 32-yard chance, blew them both. And that was uncharacteristic for Leahy. He'd only missed, counting that one, 3 shots from 40 yards out in 55 attempts.
Next Sunday, New England against Buffalo, Indianapolis and the Jets, Miami, Houston, Denver, Colorado. Denver against Cleveland. The Dolphins will make a visit to the House of Pain. How did Houston doing in the House of Pain today?
I tell you, it's probably noisy down there.
It is noisy. It is noisy. That drive, 10 yards in 7 plays, took just under 3.5 minutes. A lot of excitement in the House of Pain. The latest reports 41-38 Buffalo, and they still have a couple minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
I don't know that 3 points counts as an offensive explosion, but we did get the donuts off the board, or one of them anyway.
A small firecracker. Pat Leahy will be kicking off. Lorenzo Hampton and Mark Logan are the deep backs on the return. Again, the temperature at kickoff time, 91 degrees. Humidity above 50%.
Well, we've got some cloud cover right now, and that sun is not bearing down. Makes a big change, a big opportunity to hide a little bit. See the overcast. For the moment, at least, the sun is not burned through.
Logan takes it at the 6, 10, 15, 20. Slips a tackle. Finally taken out of bounds across the 30 to the 32-yard line. He'll have about 25 yards on the return, and the Dolphins start with very good field position. The field goal was set up by the interception. James Hasty intercepting the pass of Dan Marino.
Marino, I'm sure, has had time to converse with Clayton, and you saw him right there. A confident quarterback. He'll put that behind him.
Not off to an auspicious start. 1 of 5 for 14 and the interception. See if we can find something on the ground. Stratford gets the call. And he's got about 4. He's 2nd down and 6. Bobby Humphrey with the tackle. Troy's statistics, 19 carries.
He hurt both his knee and his ankle in last week's ball game against New England, Charlie. He said, I'm the least injured of the injured, so I am going to play.
So he's just, not only is he going, he's starting. 2nd down. Marino to throw. It's complete. Yes. 20 yards. Duper recovering after McMillan was going for the interception.
I think it was Bobby Humphrey. But Charlie, you said big plays Big mistakes right there. Gambling to reach in instead of just being secure and taking the man down. And it cost them another 20 yards as Duper, who has excellent speed, streaked downfield on that play.
When you tape, you really tape.
You sure do. And Charlie, you've got to leave the original characteristics of the shoes. So somebody has to, if there are stripes on the shoes, you've got to paint the stripes on. If there's a logo, you've got to have somebody paint the logo on.
Providing, of course, there's a shoe contract.
Well, no, it's just because you aren't allowed to use those tape spats. As Lenny Moore, going way back, I mean, back into the 60s, popularized that.
And again, we're still trying to work it out so that you can hear the referee at home. As we are having technical difficulties with his microphone.
They were reviewing that last play, apparently.
And here's Logan on a sweep to the left side, and he is pulled down at the 40-yard line by James Hasty, a gain of a couple.
Charlie,
it'll be second down and 8. I'm
sure what they were reviewing was to see if Duper's knee was on the ground, if he was touched by the defensive man, which would have taken the ball back. And the officials, apparently feeling that that was not the case, let the play stand.
Now, we do have a report that at home you are hearing the official. We are not hearing the official up here, and we get the program feed, so we figured that you weren't getting it.
Well, as long as they're hearing it home, that'll be fine.
Oh, right through the hands of Mark Clayton. Now, that's 3 mistakes that he has made already in the ballgame. He has had such a great start of the season last year after coming back and then signing the big contract last week after signing the big contract.
See him right in the center of your screen. You can't throw a pass any better than that. And Clayton, who's, I guess the one knock on Clayton is that he will drop occasionally an easy pass, but he will also go and catch a pass that you think he has no chance to catch. A great athlete, a great receiver. He had no trouble coming back after a long holdout and catching, what, 6 passes? Yes, last week. There are the numbers from last week, but he is not off to a good start today.
Jim Jensen and Fred Banks into the offensive set. 3rd down and 8.
Great play. Great catch.
Stanford, unbelievable.
Trot out the highlight reels, folks. This one belongs. Stabbed by one hand. Look at that concentration. Leaps and grabs it. And then he wants to get into the end zone. But, of course, he was down from contact. He's been doing it well. What an athletic play.
1st down, goal to go, 8-yard line. Little timing pattern. James Hasty occupying Duper and causing him to misconnect, and it'll be 2nd down, goal to go at the 8.
Hasty is saying that Duper's pushing off my face mask. Let's see. Yes, as a matter of fact, he is right there. And the officials, and Duper, of course, saying, hey, he's pushing me. The official saying, ball was not catchable. We don't call anything here.
He was pushing me with his mask. 2nd down, goal to go. Tight end.
What a great play.
Oh, Bill Edmonds.
Oh, Walton can't believe it. We talked about offensive explosion and the quality of the offensive players on the field. Get a feeling for it right there. His 32nd touchdown pass against the Jets.
And the extra point is good. And Miami has moved in front of the New York Jets by a score of 7-3, and we have 29 seconds. That is the time remaining in the first quarter.
Here's our man right here on the outside. The tree, Farrell Edmonds. Get a chance to watch him in action, just streaking to the outside. But it's the run after the catch that makes all the difference. Alex Gordon, number 55, trying to bulldog him all the way in from the 5-yard line. Not a chance. The tree takes him into the end zone with him.
Now for an update, let's go to New York City and Bob Costas.
2 seconds.
Charlie and Merlin, you won't believe this one once you hear all the details. It's been wild and woolly with 3 seconds to play in regulation. Tony Zendejas, seconds to play in regulation. Tony Zendejas for the Oilers from 52 yards out. It's perfect with plenty to spare. This is one of the all-time buttes in the House of Pain in overtime, tied at 41.
The House of Pain has not decided whom is going to be the recipient of the pain yet. Here as we're closing down on the end of the first quarter with 29 seconds left, here's a look at the drive, 68 yards in 7 plays, and the time, 2:41. Marino's touchdown pass, that is number 201 in his career. That ties him with Roman Gabriel, your former roommate with the Rams.
Roman is up in Charlotte, North Carolina, I'm sure digging out after Hugo went through there earlier this week.
Bobby Humphrey. To the 20 and returns to the 21. 23 yards on the kickoff return.
Greg Clark, number 23 on the tackle, one of those free agents, linebackers picked up under Plan B. Really got great speed. I think he's kind of miscast as an inside linebacker. I think he's a much better outside linebacker. And of course, if John Offerdahl ends his holdout, we probably will see him at an outside position.
Seconds left in the first quarter. O'Brien's pass is complete for the first down at the 34-yard line to Michael Harper. As the Jets can well take a countdown to the end of the first quarter after that gain of 12 yards. And so the gun sounds. That is the end of the first quarter. Talk about the size of the ball players now playing professional football, but sometimes it's hard, Merlin, to put that into a true perspective, and you can do that today.
We can do that very easily. The man who just scored the touchdown, Farrell Edmonds, this is Farrell's shoe, a size 16, and lo and behold, what do we have in here? Stoyanovic's shoe, a size 6.5. Surprise, surprise. Different size equipment, different size players. And of course, it's a real hassle to try and keep these guys. You can see the power that Farrell Edmonds can get with that shoe as he goes downfield dragging people for 5 yards.
Now, you think that it's a problem to get a big shoe? One of the problems of getting a little shoe, you've got to they go and order this out of a Little League catalog.
That's right. The NFL shoes, they couldn't find one in this size, so this is a Little League shoe, 6.5.
And there he is, and there's the man himself.
They call him Tree.
Good nickname, because you stand and talk to him. He looks like a tree that you're talking to.
You look up to him. Funny thing happened yesterday. Lorenzo Hampton was teasing him about a chain, a gold chain around his neck, telling him that he ought to get that copper off his neck, and then made the mistake of saying, hey, if you wear that, you'll probably come in tomorrow with a bicycle rim around your neck. Well, about that time, the Tree picked up Hampton and stuffed him in a garbage can. So you don't want to mess with the Tree.
Don't mess with the Tree. You're right. Play action fake. Pass complete at the 50-yard line. It'll be a first down for New York. Al Toon picking up 15.
Al Toon at the end of that one.
Now let's go to New York. Bob Costas, we've got an update.
Charlie, on the pregame show, we talked all about the apparently hapless Steelers. Well, they surprised everybody today. This 2-yard scoring run by Merrill Hodge gave them a 21-14 lead over the Vikings at halftime. Then they blanked the Vikings in the second half, added 2 Gary Anderson field goals. What an upset, 27-14 Steelers.
We're back here as Freeman McNeil carries.
Oh, we got another battle
And another
going on
fight
out there.
going, and helmets are off.
Greg Cook,
This
I
is
think.
serious. We're getting into some serious fisticuffs.
Jeff Criswell, there were some tempers flaring on the last play as Hugh Green was popped around, but someone ought to remind Greg Cook that when that helmet's off your head, you become a very good target. Criswell, who is slow developing, finally rounding into shape, playing well last week. Let's see if we can see what happens. Number 60, right in the middle of your screen, it's Whitcomb, number 76.
He's been alternating bringing the plays in.
Yeah, that actually started that action. Just pushed the helmet right off Clark's head. I said Greg Cook. I think it's Greg Clark.
Second down. And now we've got a delay of game called against the Jets. Now we'll take the ball back.
Game, number 7 offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
New York 48.
Joe Walton furious. He said, let's go. Come on. We wasted that time. Rich Kotite taking some of the heat out there because they're trying to get the plays onto the field a little quicker.
Second and 12. Nothing is there. Hector the ball carrier. Aaron and Clark. We're waiting for it. 10-minute ticker. Overtime Buffalo, Houston. San Francisco wins. Seattle, big over New England. These are, of course, the final. Pittsburgh with the big upset of the day. Chicago wins, the Giants win. Washington over Dallas. Tampa Bay wins, Indianapolis wins. These games, oh, look at Denver over the Raiders early, 21-0. San Diego leading Kansas City. Rams by 3 over Green Bay. And here it is Miami 7 and the Jets 3. Ball is loose. It's fumbled. A hand pulls it in, and Miami has it.
Number 95, T.J. Turner from that left end position. And that's sack number 13. O'Brien looked like he just pulled that ball down and did not clamp it with his hands. And T.J. Turner there to recover the ball. Looked like Kumaro might have been the man who actually hit him first, but it's T.J. who comes up with the football.
And don't forget Brian Soche, who was right there also. So Miami with the turnover, the ball at the New York 34-yard line, first down.
It was 70 rather than 90, so it was Soche who hit him first.
Miami leading 7-3. Will they go to the end zone? Play action. Marino's in trouble. Has to get rid of it. One of the reasons that Marino has not been sacked in 14 ball games is when he's in trouble, he gets rid of the football.
Charlie, he's able to do that for 2 reasons. First, because he has excellent feet. He's very quick in getting back and setting up. But he also is able to unload that football very, very quickly and almost from any position. Most quarterbacks have to set before they throw the football. Marino can throw and has the arm strength and the shoulder snap to throw from almost any position.
He had to throw them because Marty Lyons was face mask to face mask with it.
That's right.
Second down and 10. Jensen is in as a wide receiver on the near side. It's the tree. Farrell Edmonds, 10 yards. Cofield and Radachowski finally drag him down, but they've got the first down. He's a load of lumber to carry.
He certainly, as you saw, those big shoes that the tree's wearing are one of them. And you can see those big feet just chomping here. Much faster than he looks. In fact, he runs a 4.6 at 6'7" and 255 pounds. You got to jump on, get 4 or 5 friends, and say, let's load him down.
First down at the Jets 24. Dolphins lead by 4, 7-3. A little over 11 after to go in the second quarter. Here's Mark Logan. hasty with the tackle.
Mark Logan told me grew up as a Dolphin fan. As a matter of fact, he was in Lexington, Kentucky, had a black and white TV set. He said we always watched Zonka and Greasy. And said when Greasy came out to camp a couple of weeks ago, he said, I just stood there in awe. Kind of nice. Came to the Dolphins from the Cincinnati Bengals in the Plan B free agency.
2nd and 5. Clayton in motion.
Double pass.
All alone. A flag is down. The pass is complete in the end zone. To Farrell Edmonds, it was a lateral, so that meant that Jensen could throw the touchdown pass. However, there was a marker at the 7.
Got to wonder if perhaps there was an offensive interference call in there somewhere.
Holding defense.
Holding defense. All right. Well, the touchdown will stand. That's the kind of flexibility you can get when you have 2 quarterbacks in the same backfield. There's the lateral. They have to throw that behind the line of scrimmage, and at that point, you can throw the second pass. And Farrell Edmonds, what a first half he is having.
To attempt the point after, and he hooks it. It is no good. So the margin remains at 10, 13-3. Jensen, that is his 2nd touchdown pass of his career. Career-wise, 205, 54 yards. A man nicknamed Crash, and he can really do it all.
Extremely versatile. Look at all of those names and all of those numbers. Well, there's one man, Dan Marino, look at all those numbers. One man that would replace all of them if they were hurt. Hopefully they're not going to be hurt at the same time, because Jim Jensen is a backup at quarterback, fullback, running back, tight end, wide receiver. That's the holder and deep snapper. Now that's a workload, Charlie.
Does he have 1 contract or 7?
Just one.
Just one. His last touchdown pass was in 1984. It was a 35-yarder to Duper. That was in the game against New England. This, of course, was set up by T.J. Turner's fumble recovery. Soche got the sack. O'Brien fumbled. Townsell and Humphrey are the deep backs on the return. To the end zone.
Let's go back and see how that was done. Now, you're worried about these defensive backs. They read, pass, or run on this situation as the ball is thrown to the outside. Farrell Edmonds all by himself down into the corner. Here it is. Marino takes the ball, laterals to the outside. Edmonds stumbled briefly, but nobody around. Look how open he is in the end zone. Benson, number 54, 59, Clifton, the 2 linebackers who'd been drawn up on the play, simply weren't there to help on the pass.
And the Jets come back on the ground. This is Roger Vick from the 20 to the 25. And it is 2nd down and 5. At Merlin, as I mentioned just a moment ago, you have to go all the way back 5 years to 1984 for his first touchdown pass. This was his 2nd. That was a game that I talked about against the Patriots.
Charlie, he caught 2 TD passes last week, and he tried to keep the ball in the second one until Marino came over and he said, give me that ball. It was his 200th.
Freeman McNeil. Dave Aarons makes the stop. And it's a first down.
Just as a final add to that Crash Jensen story, Jensen made this team basically by his special teams play, and he has just continued to find other roles where he fits. For example, it was his knowledge of pass routes that allowed him to start running some patterns, and suddenly he became a very valuable third down pass receiver, as well as a third down runner. And we've seen those numbers earlier.
Here's Freeman McNeil. And he pops it out to the 39-yard line. So Shea with a tackle.
So Shea all the way out from the inside, but McNeil's such a fluid athlete. He's made so many people miss over his career. Great body control, great vision, just seems to know exactly where he has to be to avoid the tackle.
And a reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the ball game. And here is Vick to the outside. Second and 3, and he picks up the first down. So Shea and Clark make the tackle. Are you surprised that Jets come back on the ground?
Well, they're trying to get something established, and I'll tell you who is having a great game, and you mentioned his name in the opening, is Brian Sauché, the nose tackle, who has been all over the field today, has one sack already that forced a fumble that set up a touchdown. And Sauché, who is, I think, one of the finest nose tackles in all of football, because he is capable of being a great rusher as well as a fine nose tackle against the run. In fact, they moved him outside to defensive end to get a rush on the passer.
John Bosa into that defensive line. Here's the first pass of this drive, and going upward is Al Toon. Flag is dropped back at the 37-yard line. And the Jets are self-destructive. Holding is called.
Well, they're certainly getting some assistance from this aggressive Miami defense.
Holding, 79 offense. 10-yard penalty is still first down.
From Mike Haight.
Middle of your screen, Mike Haight. There he is right there. Just got a lockup, and that's Sauché, who, as we mentioned, has been so effective. They're trying to stop him and trying to stop him by holding him, and Mike Haight tagged with a penalty.
Mike Lambrecht is into that defensive line for Miami. O'Brien airs it out and is incomplete.
Trying to take advantage of the rookie secondary, the rookie safety, Lewis Oliver, and you hear them shouting, Lou, Lou, Lou. And you'll get a chance to watch the end of this play as the safety comes in, and this is the range that Olivedati talked about. That ball thrown way out there, but look at the speed from this big free safety. I'll tell you, he is huge. Physical enough to do that. 6'2", 226. He had linebacker pads on last week. He looked like a linebacker. This week he's gone to a little smaller pad, Charlie.
Play action. Tipped, incomplete. Toon again, the intended receiver.
Number 50, Dave Aarons. I think a real surprise for this team, even though they wanted him as a Plan B free agent out of Detroit. He has really played excellent football for them, and they've needed that because of the Offerdahl holdout. He's calling defensive signals for them and doing a much better job than they could have anticipated.
Third down and 20. In case you're wondering where the commercial has gone, the Houston Buffalo game, which goes to a major portion of our network, is in overtime tied at 41-41. And until they join us, hey, here we go. Intercepted.
Rodney Thomas, and they're saying, come on, run with the football. But I think he was already touched down. And O'Brien, whose strength had been his accuracy and his ability to avoid the interception, had 4 last week against Cleveland, throws one here. Rodney Thomas, number 24, one of those extra backs to go into this defense, right there, just great anticipation. And O'Brien throwing at a man who's triple covered. 3 defenders right on top of it. Bad quarterbacking choice.
Miami, first down. Here's Stratford, closed inside, jumps outside.
He just got Kyle Clifton, number 59, to do a little back and forth tap dance, and then Stratford, when Clifford leaned inside, he went outside. Picked up a few yards.
I've got an update on that Buffalo-Houston game I'll get back to in a moment. The Dolphins have outscored their opponent 23-0. Second quarter has been a big quarter. In the Houston-Buffalo game, Houston had a field goal attempt from 42 yards. It was blocked, but Buffalo was offside. The second attempt from 37 was wide left. Just under 9 minutes left in overtime. They're still tied at 41-41. Second and 6. Jensen in motion. Fakes a block. Now he is a receiver. He threw the touchdown pass. This time had a little kind of a shade block. Went out. Received the ball. 15 yards. First down.
Jensen is going to fake a little block. He's setting up in the backfield. Right there, a little Toreador move on Alex Gordon, 55. And as soon as Gordon is clear, the ball is in the air. So obviously the play designed to take advantage of the play in the Jets secondary.
Jensen will be a new father, brand new father next March.
Excited about that. Well, we shared...
and he's nervous, too, already.
We shared the engagement. He carried the ring out. One of the... what are they, Dolphin girls? What are they here?
Dolphins?
Dolphins.
I don't know. She was cheerleaders.
One of the lovely girls.
Stratford, the ball carrier. Let's go to New York City. Bob Costas and an update.
Here's the play you mentioned a moment ago, Charlie. On his second try, first one blocked, but Buffalo offsides, gets a second crack at it from 38. Zendejas hooks it left. He had tied the game moments earlier from 52 yards out. Now in overtime, Buffalo has the ball, and they've moved into Houston territory with a chance to win. Charlie, I don't know what those girls are called in Miami either. Can't help you.
We checked. They're the cheerleaders.
Cheerleaders. You're right, Charlie. You're right. While we were gone, Eric McMillan, the big safety who has played so well for the Jets, was in a scuffle here.
That's the third fight that's broken out. Marino to Stratford, first down. No, it may be, let's see, it's right on the marker. Maybe short. They may look at it. He needed 9. I think he only got 8. And so it's going to be third down and a yard.
No love lost, by the way, Charlie, between McMillan and Marino. That's the big rookie. Well, I tell you, that's Lageman, Jeff Lageman, number 56, pointing fingers, and he's looking down at his leg like he may have been chopped down on that play. Bob Reese, the trainer, out to help him, and he's heading off to the sideline, limping on that right leg. Lageman, of course, the number 1 pick. They don't want to see him injured.
And next week on NBC, New England at Buffalo, Indianapolis at the Jets, Miami at Houston, Denver at Cleveland, all starting at 12:30 Eastern time, plus regional action, so check your local listings. Double tied in on the set. Third down and 1. Jensen in motion. It is not there. Stratford does not find any air at all. Do we go for it, or do we kick the field goal? We may go for it.
Number 90, Dennis Byrd, one of those outstanding young rookies. They kept 3 rookie defensive linemen, Dennis Byrd and Ron Stallworth and Marvin Washington. And that was Byrd, the most athletic of the 3, making that play.
And Marino asked for a timeout. Now he'll come over and hold the discussion.
It'll be a 40-second timeout.
And this will give us a chance to bring you up to date. As far as baseball is concerned, over 50 years, NBC Sports has covered the great game of baseball like no other. We capture the historic milestones and touching moments. We brought unforgettable pictures into your living rooms. Now, next Saturday, share some of those wonderful memories with NBC on a special half-hour edition of Major League Baseball's Game of the Week. The independent races down to the wires. The Cardinals battle the Cubs. The Orioles take on the Blue Jays. The final weekend of the regular season, that's all next Saturday here on NBC.
For fans up in New York who are Buffalo fans, Buffalo finally beat Houston.
And we'll have the details, and Bob Costas could well have an update to show that to you in a moment.
Left-hand side of your screen, that was Gary Stevens, the new quarterback coach. And, of course, you see Marino on the bench, that means one thing. Stoyanovich is on the field.
42-yard field goal attempt.
Wow, no.
And it is picked up on the hop.
That's a touchdown.
Radachowski.
Pete Stoyanovich made this team because Fuad Reveiz just couldn't get healthy. Untested, did not play that well in the preseason, and he's made two big mistakes here. Hooks a field goal, and that low kick blocked is a 10-point turnaround. Instead of getting the 3 on the board, you suddenly see 7 go up on the opposition board. That is a big, big blow to Miami.
We believe it was Paul Fraze who drew the starting assignment at nose tackle that got his hand on it. And George Radachowski in his 5th year. Now here's a man who has been waived 4 times. That's the bad news. The good news is he's been signed 5 times.
As long as you got one more on the last note, you're fine.
75 yards and a score. Extra point is good. And the Jets have pulled within 3, 13-10.
Let's see who got their hands on that ball. It looked like a low kick, a low line drive kick.
First, here's an update. Let's go to Bob Costas in New York.
Charlie, it's finally over at the Astrodome, and Buffalo comes out on top in overtime. Here's Andre Reed. He latches onto the throw from Kelly. He weaves his way through tacklers into the end zone. He goes 47-41. The Bills pull it out in overtime on the road. Charlie.
Oh, that's quite a victory. Merlin?
Perhaps we can see who actually...
And now we'd like to welcome those of you who have been watching that Oilers-Buffalo game. The final score, once again, 47-41. Buffalo does it here in Miami. It's Miami 13 and the Jets 10.
Let's see if we can see who actually blocks that kick. The kick is low. It's Fraze. It is Fraze. Right over the center. And no one touched him as he just stepped around the center. Ulahake and got in there quickly. And Radachowski using his speed to break clear down the sideline.
Mark Logan at the 5. Nice return outside the 30. And a scramble for the ball at the 34-yard line. And there's the block. And it is number 91, Paul Fraze, drafted in the 6th round last year out of Syracuse. Oh, and then Radachowski to the races. And Miami starts at their own 35-yard line, first down. Makes you want to go back to that decision if you're a Dolphin fan and say, well, we should have gone for it. Here's a screen, and Marino has to throw it away. He had a tight end screen, but he got so much pressure right in his face, and it was Paul Fraze again. Now, Fraze has replaced Mercer at the starting nose tackle because he has a stronger pass rush, and he shows it again.
Certainly does. Marino throwing the retreating mode on that play. Talking about the special teams play of Fraze, Larry Pasquale's special teams have played well all year, and 80% turnover because of all the young players on this team, and yet they have made a bunch of big plays, 5 coming to this game and adding to that total dramatically here today.
2nd and 10. 4:18 time remaining first half. Miami by 3, 13-10. Pump fake, fires. This one's incomplete. Going into coverage.
I'm surprised we didn't have a flag on that one, Charlie. Looked like someone was draped all over the intended receiver, Stratford.
And Marino gets a lot of pressure.
Marino taking, and that looked like more than a single step. On the outside, that was Cofield, number 50, Tim Cofield. One of those big combo linebackers coming in and leveling Marino.
Clear touchdown by quarters. We're in the 2nd quarter. By far his most productive period. down. And he goes deep and incomplete. 2 for the intended receiver. And Marino is taking a beating. In case you were wondering, the last time a blocked field goal was returned for a touchdown against Miami, it was 10 years ago, 1979, Charles Rome to the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh, sandwich on that play. Gerald Nichols, number 77, and Cofield absolutely sandwiched Marino. Marino will not let you know he's hurting, but there's Cofield. 6'2", 242 pounds. The starter at Kansas City, picked up as a Plan B free agent. He is impressive. Oh,
Snap over the head of Roby. It's in the end zone.
He'll take the safety.
He'll take the safety. Smart move. Kicked it out of the end zone. That cost 2. Brian Kinchin is the snapper on punts.
And there is Kinchin, who is shaking his head. Had a big penalty last week, has made a couple of mistakes. Roby is 6'4", a big target. No chance. Smart play right there, as he would not give them a chance to recover for the touchdown, was not going to give them field position. They will have the 2 points. Miami will have to free kick the ball from the 20.
And so the Jets now have pulled within 1. Reggie Roby only that 1 block punt in his career.
Not the kind of explosion we expected, Charlie, but it's one of those strange games.
It really is. There's a strange feel to it right from the first couple of possessions.
No head coach in football is more involved in special teams than is Don Shula. And right now, I'm sure he's giving his special teams a little bit of a lecture out there.
Guess what? We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back in a moment. We promise.
$1990. The new generation comes of age. The Oldsmobile Silhouette, the exciting new Cutlass Supreme Convertible, the totally new Cutlass Supreme 4-door, the new 88 Royale, the new long look of the Toronado Trofeo.
This is not your father's automobile. This is the new generation of those.
What's the difference? It takes too long to learn to use a computer.
Wrong. DeskMate makes the difference with graphics that guide you.
Learning new software is like starting over.
Not now. DeskMate uses the same plain English commands with different programs like load a spreadsheet for DeskMate.
A computer? I wouldn't know what to do.
Now you will. DeskMate makes the difference.
DeskMate is simple.
It's PC compatible.
DeskMate is even easier on Tandy computers.
The friendly face in the PC crowd at Radio Shack and participating dealers.
One airline works harder than any other to make sure that a good landing not only means getting you there on time, but landing your bag in your hand on time as well. United. Come fly the friendly skies.
I used pressure-treated lumber and still have expensive water damage. Why?
Even treated wood needs Thompson's Water Seal. It penetrates to protect wood, brick, and concrete from water damage. Thompson's the first name in lasting protection. Next Sunday, the NFL is on NBC.
Bernie Kosar and the Browns will be out to erase the memory of 2 dramatic championship losses when they battled the Denver Broncos.
And Dan Marino, the newest member of the 200-touchdown club, leads the Dolphins against the Houston Oilers, plus regional action.
NBC football. It's a whole new ball game.
The Jets special team coach.
And he is a happy man, but he is a guy who won't leave any details untouched and unrecorded, as he is carefully counting out there, making sure everyone is ready. Does not leave anything to chance. A very emotional leader of these special teams, and with all those youngsters, he has his work cut out for him.
Here's the situation. It's what is called a free kick. That means that Roby must punt from behind the 20-yard line. They use the punt. He could kick off. They could use a kick if they want to.
Not a good kick at all.
And it is short, taken on the first time by Townsell, and Townsell could break it. And he will return inside the 45-yard line. He's got 22 yards on the return. The Jets have field position. They've got the football. They trail by 1, 13-12 when we come back.
It has arrived.
Good morning, Mr. Graves. This is the all-new four-door Cutlass Supreme. Your mission is to show the world that it's causing an automotive revolution. Its sleek look and responsive performance make it a superpower among world-class cars.
This is not your father's Oldsmobile.
Ready, head up.
This is the new generation of Olds.
Dry is bold and wet. The taste of dry is less sweet. Michelob Dry, brewed longer, so taste after taste, there's just no aftertaste. Michelob Dry, bold taste with no aftertaste.
Out here, people depend on Craftsman. Craftsman tools are so tough, the hand tools are guaranteed forever. So you can always return them, no matter when or for what. Good thing they hardly ever have to, because the nearest Sears is 2 hours away. By plane. Great low prices every day. Craftsman quality. That's your money's worth, and a whole lot more.
NBC sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by the new generation of Oldsmobile. Step into the future now at your Oldsmobile dealer. By the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. And by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light.
Welcome back to Joe Robbie Stadium. We've got 3:47. That is the time remaining. Second quarter, Miami by 1, 13-12. O'Brien just dumps it right over the middle to Roger Vick out of the backfield, and he goes to the 37-yard line. Late games, Denver with a big lead over the Raiders, and they established that lead early. San Diego by 1 over Kansas City. The Rams with a big margin over Green Bay. Baseball, a final in the American League. The Yankees defeat the Orioles 2-0 in the 7th. Milwaukee leading Toronto. In the National League Finals, the Mets win, Chicago wins, and Philadelphia wins. Play action. And O'Brien's throwing it away. He was running out of time. Freeman McNeil was nearby, but he was just avoiding the loss. It'll be third down.
Getting pressure on the quarterback, such an important part of good defense, and the Miami Dolphins have done a much, much better job of that this year. They simply have, through the process of getting these young linemen of theirs going, getting off on the ball, and that was the point that Jim Sweeney made to me as I talked to him about this Miami defensive line. He said, they're just flat flying off of that football. He said, they're making it tough on us.
The Jets scoring a 32-yard field goal by Pat Leahy. Radachowski 75 yards on that tip field goal return, and then the safety. The special teams doing all the scoring, and that's only the second time in 7 opportunities that the Jets have converted on third down. Johnny Hector picks up the first down. Jeff Cross with the tackle.
For those who don't appreciate the importance of those special teams, Charlie, that is quite a note, isn't it? Their offense has struggled, their defense has struggled, but you look on the scoreboard, and they're right in the thick of this ball game, and with great field position as a result of that man's special teams.
And for Miami, Marino his 201st career touchdown pass, and that was to Farrell Edmonds. And Edmonds caught his second touchdown pass. There's a relationship with first downs. Caught his second touchdown pass, this time from Jensen. Here's pressure, and it's rolling out. They did not call grasp and control. And here's the flag. They're now calling intentional grounding. He was throwing it away, and nobody was there. Now, one of the reasons you'll get this call on a right-handed quarterback going to the right side is the fact that the referee who makes that call is standing behind to his left, and he can see and look downfield.
A sure sack right here, Charlie. 55, Hugh Green, who had one earlier in the ball game, just misses on it. And O'Brien, you see the official Barth right behind him.
On the quarterback. Lost it down. What's the distance from where he threw the ball? Second down.
That's a call that the official has to decide. Is he just throwing it away to avoid the sack? And O'Brien, with no receiver anywhere around, just lofts it out into the open. And Gene Barth said, no way, friend. That's an intentional grounding. And it's such a tough penalty because not only the yardage gets taken away from you, but also the down.
And so the ball goes back to the New York 49-yard line. And it is second down. And 27. Now, the only time he can get away with it, you saw from the picture, the positioning of the referee, if it's on the other side of the field, he can get away from it because the referee's not looking down the same sight line as the quarterback.
You saw the defensive players waving their arms saying, come on, we're starting to do some good things out here. Don't get a penalty called here. Of course, there will be a warning before that happens.
And the crowd certainly into the ball game. Second and officially 26. Here's McNeil.
Jeff Cross, fine inside-out pursuit by the big right defensive end, number 91. There he is. He leads the NFL in sacks. Good play against the run there.
And we have the 2-minute warning. The score, Miami 13, Jets 12.
Working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. The Broncos passing game is built on the arm of John Elway and the legs of 3 young wide receivers. Third-year pro Ricky Natil, number 84, is the youngest and the swiftest. Vance Johnson, number 82, the veteran, who is in his 4th season, led the team in receptions in 1988. Mark Jackson, number 80, has compiled over 2,000 yards in 3 years. Individually, each is a threat. Together as teammates, they are the 3 amigos and the best they can be.
Dear Dad, I know you didn't want me to put off college for the Army. But, Dad, I'm learning things here that are really going to help me succeed, no matter what I do.
Also pointed out on the back, the question is, what class office did you hold in college? That would be, of course, at Utah State.
2 of them.
Yes, tell them.
President of my sophomore and junior classes, but that's a long time ago.
That's on the back of the card. Third down and 22. Billy Griggs. And it will be 4th down. And still around 13, maybe 14 to go. With 1:41, that is the time remaining in the first half.
4th down decision. I think they're well outside of field goal range. Yes, Joe Prokop is going to come in to punt.
And we've got a timeout, and we'll go away. We'll be right back.
Shine a light on you, shine a light on me. Keep your light shining for everyone to see.
Every day, more and more people are getting together over an ice-cold Bud Light.
Seattle and a new grandfather.
And a new grandfather. He was really pleased about that.
Last Sunday. Adrian Charles Keeley, grandson.
Charles. Fine man. I tell you, he's going to bring a different style of football. He said, we're going to make him take the long road. I thought that was better than bend but don't break.
Better than the high road.
Yes, better than the short road, definitely.
That's true, that's true. Maybe a detour would help. Broke up the kick. And he hangs it up.
Too good. Could be in the end zone. No.
Makes a nice bounce and is right at the 1-yard line. Excellent coverage downfield, 36 yards. And we'll take a timeout. We'll be back in just a moment.
That's a basketball player, folks. They say that all the best tight ends are in the NBA. Not true. Newbert goes up for the rebound, pulls it down. He was a 1-year football player and a basketball player at Nebraska, 6'6", 248. He knows how to get that ball.
Yes, he does. Goes right to the hoop. And Miami is a first down at their own 1. And they'll come out and throw it. The safe pattern on the right side, though, and that's Royce Trammell. Stopping the clock. 1:21 is the time remaining in the first half. Miami 13, the Jets 12. Marino with a touchdown pass to Farrell Edmonds. And the other touchdown pass with Marino to Jensen, which was a long lateral, and then to Farrell Edmonds for Edmonds' 2nd of the year. The extra point was hooked left. That made it 13, and the Jets, as we mentioned a moment ago, special teams involved in all of their scoring, and they trailed by 1.
This is the situation that Sammy Smith would be invaluable in. His power running would give you a little room, but you sense how confident they are in their passing game here in Miami.
And
Very close to a first down. But with 1:13, the Jets will trade yardage for time off the clock.
And the clock moving on the 1 minute mark. Guys are up to date, 7 rushes as you see 20 yards. Two-minute offense.
The prevent. They are all back.
And Marino will be calling the plays at the line of scrimmage. It is Jensen and Kyle Clifton for the defense.
It's a 3-man rush, 7 defensive backs.
And the center fielder is about 40 yards downfield from where the quarterback is as he's due for out of bounds. And you can't let him get away with too many of those. That's 17 yards. Hasty covered for the defense. The clock is stopped with 31 seconds. You give Marino too much room, and he'll chop you to bits with it.
Wasn't it Tom Olivadotti that was chastised so severely for going to the prevent defense in that Miami game 2 weeks ago, the opener?
Buffalo? Yep.
Head to Buffalo in the final seconds of that ball game. There's Olivadotti. He's saying, hey, I hope somebody else gets in trouble on the prevent. I had my trouble with it.
Marino 10 of 20, 139 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. It's a screen right over the middle to Jensen. Middle screen. They used the last time out here, or they could. They want to save the last one for the field goal. No, Marino says we'll keep going. They've got the first down at the 50, gain of 12.
He needs about 20 yards, maybe a little bit more to get into range.
They want to save that last time out for the field goal team, so you don't have to rush him coming in. Over the middle again. Jensen bobbles, has it at the 43. They got to take it now.
Not going to make it, Charlie, unless they can get a penalty.
5 yards. 5 seconds. The ball at the 43-yard line. 53-yard attempt. Well, we'll get a timeout, and we'll think about it. We may have it when we come back. Miami leads by 1. Don't go away.
What they'll hope for here, Charlie, is an opportunity to get a penalty against the defense. Would give them a shot at a field goal, or, of course, if they can, to get the touchdown. Again, the 3-man rush. Maximum protection. 3 receivers on the right, 1 on the left, and the ball is in the air. Ooh, touchdown! Touchdown!
Red Banks.
Number 86, Freddie Banks, nursing a hamstring injury. Quick reactions, and that's what you train for with that Hail Mary. You shoot it into the end zone. You hope it bounces off one hand and into one of your own, and the Dolphins got it there.
We see that so often at the end of the first half or the end of a ball game, and how few times it does pay off, but it works here. Here's the extra point. Let's see on it. He's got this one.
You simply send 3 speedsters down into the end zone. You get the ball to them. It's number 82 that goes up and bounces that ball off. That's tight. Not
Andre Brown.
Andre Brown, 3rd wide receiver. He got his hands on it, bounced it right into the stomach of Fred Banks.
Brown to Banks. 7 plays, 99 yards. It's halftime. And Logan, he'll down it in the end zone, and the Dolphins will come out to their own 20-yard line. Into the first half, Marino completed his last 6 attempts. He'll start from the 20.
One of the things that's different about this year's Miami team is that Shula is back calling the plays. Let's look at what the quarterbacks have done. Both have a single interception, but Marino balances that off with 2 touchdowns on the day. O'Brien has not had a productive day. He's been harassed and sacked. Marino's had some pressure too, but not nearly as much as O'Brien.
Marino also, as you saw, with 200 yards. He got 99 of them, though, at that last drive, ending up with a Hail Mary. Bradford. 8 yards, second down and a couple. And there's Don Shula.
Football's winningest active coach. You look at his numbers. There are people taking shots at this man saying, hey, can't do the job like he used to do it. Charlie, there's not a coach in football more involved in every aspect of the game. And it still amazes me about him. He is down there working with the special teams players. He's over there in the defensive meetings. He's in the offensive meetings. Got a hand on somebody's shoulder saying, aren't you lined up a little too far outside? He really is a coach who is involved in the whole program.
2nd and 2. Stratford shut off at the point of attack, slid a little to the left side, couldn't find anything there, and Ron Stallworth, the rookie from Auburn, along with Kyle Clifton, make the tackle.
Stallworth, just one of those fine young rookie defensive linemen. Talking to Wally Chambers, who coaches those defensive linemen, he said this youngster came in with the ability to play the run, that some of it is instinctive, but he learned a lot of it at Auburn. Plays those two gaps extremely well, and also knows how to rush the passer.
The crowd on hand here. The time 10 minutes till 6. 3rd down and 2. Marino now from the shotgun. One of the keys to his quick release, this quick snap of his hips. Pow, right there. And the pass is complete. Clayton has it. Radachowski with a tackle. First down at the 33.
Let's take a look at Marino's throwing technique. Watch the ball up by the ear as he'll bring it up and just whip. You see that shoulder motion. He had such power up there, Charlie, and he didn't even have to use the hips on that one. Marino will surprise you. He's so strong that he can do a half motion with that shoulder and get the ball delivered.
And Mark Clayton now has a reception in 40 straight games. And there's the quick release he's dropped. I think that's the only thing that Farrell Edmonds has dropped all day.
For those of you who just joined us, Farrell Edmonds has 2 touchdowns on the day. You saw the one in our highlight package at the end of a Jimmy Jensen pass, but the other one, he caught a pass on the 5-yard line and carried a couple of Jets defenders with him as he rumbled into the end zone.
Marino's string of 8 straight completions was snapped, and it's 2nd down and 10. Miami 20, the Jets 12. 12 and a half minutes to go. We're in the 3rd quarter. Jensen is in. A key figure in the 99-yard touchdown drive as a receiver, a key figure with a touchdown pass. He's out in the pattern. And he has it. Close to the first down. He got all of the stretch that he could, and he may not have made it. Clifton is the man who made the tackle.
Coming in motion across the formation, trying to get some confusion in there. A lot of young people in this Jets defense. In fact, 11 of 21 in 2 years or less experience in that secondary. That's one of the more experienced players, Kyle Clifton, making the tackle.
And now an opportunity to see the hips, the key to the quick release. Now remember, we're in slow motion here. And you can still, there's the snap. And that's a slow motion snap. And at regular speed, it really pops those hips.
Measuring and saying just barely short on that first down.
All right, now we'll go back. Watch the hips at normal speed. Whoops, so quick you could not see them.
So fast you could hardly even see them.
Amazing, making my point exactly. 3rd down and inches.
Gary Stevens, who is now the quarterback coach for these Miami Dolphins and formerly the offensive coordinator for Miami Hurricanes, and talking about Marino, said an amazingly accurate thrower as well.
Good move by Stratford to save the first down. Troy Benson finally got him, and he was almost stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
Sammy Smith, the #1 draft pick of the Dolphins and the player that they expect to carry the running load, on the inactive list today because of an ankle injury. Troy Stratford, who's only 5'9" and 192. I think they want him to be a spot player, Charlie. He's having to carry the load today, and he has an ankle and a knee injury both, so he's performed admirably.
Quick snap. Marino rolls out. He's got deceptive speed, and the pass is juggled. Was it held on? Yes. 43-yard line. Mark Clayton right at the first down marker.
On Clayton's first attempt at a reception on the day, he stopped on a pattern Marino was intercepted, and Marino and Clayton had a few words. Clayton, of course, a holdout through camp. Came back last week with a brilliant 6-reception afternoon.
You don't want to have too many words with your quarterback, though.
No, you don't.
He might look at the other side.
He might go elsewhere, and he can on this team. Got Mark Duper on the other side.
On our continuing story of Dan Marino, one of the things, it is a first down. One of the things that we will be noticing is that when he comes up under center, Merlin, he has like a little quarterback shuffle. He kind of shifts that weight back and forth and sets up a rhythm.
Almost a dancing motion, or like you see the tennis players do before they take a serve.
When they're receiving, yes, yes. Marino, 17 of 28, 232 yards. Here's a little motion, you see it? Sets it up. Pauses just a split second as he takes the snap. And Mark Logan pops clean. 14 yards to the 29, first down. Humphrey and Hasty on the tackle.
Logan running in behind Roy Foster and Jeff Dellenbach. Dellenbach had been the starting center here. In fact, it had 20 starts at center, but they were having trouble out there. Louis Cheek had gone out, young left tackle with 2 years experience. The decision was made that he needed more seasoning, so they put Jeff Dellenbach, their starting center, out there, handed the starting center's job to Jeff Uhlenhake, who's done a fine job.
He really has. Marino rolls out again.
Screen, Charlie.
Rollback screen, left side. Stratford. $20 yards. You're right. Stratford has had to carry that whole offensive load in addition to the arm of Marino.
Marino selling it, looking to his right, and then spinning back to his left, and that's the quick release. That's the advantage of it. There's no chance for a secondary to get a jump on that pass. It's in the air too quickly.
And Stratford with 98 yards total, 72 yards receiving and 26 yards rushing. First down, goal to go, 8-yard line. Jensen is in. Incomplete. Marino simply running out of time. It'll be second down, goal to go at the 8. Number 13. Therein lies the tape. When I asked him about that, Merlin, he said, well, I was always kind of a rebel. He said, when I was a Little League pitcher, I wore 13. He said, but then when I started playing football, I was too big. The 13 jerseys were too small. So I wore the 33 until the jerseys got big enough that I could wear the 13 again.
That 13 has become very unlucky for a lot of folks. Marino has set his records in such a quick pace here in the NFL.
In a very positive manner. Logan. 4 yards to the 4. Third down and go. Jeff Lageman and Eric McMillan on the stop.
Good to see Lageman back in the game. He left the game limping slightly earlier. Number 1 pick, rookie out of Virginia. They have high hopes for him. Very, very physical. I talked to him down in the locker before the game, and I said, what is the tough part about this game? Thinking? He said, no, not thinking. Playing football. And that is true. With all he has to learn, it's hard just to play and use your good instincts.
12th play of the drive. Marino with 2 touchdown passes. Is this number 3 in the game now?
James Hasty with good coverage on 23. Troy Stratford on the far side of the field. Marino just puts his hands up.
Stoyanovich will come in with a field goal attempt.
And that's the kind of, well, I'm sure that's not a drive that will please Ralph Hawkins, the defensive coordinator of the Jets, but again, the philosophy that the Jets will use defensively now is to try and keep everything in front of them, to make the team, the offensive team, take the long road, to try and force them to make the mistake. Here they end up forcing the field goal rather than the touchdown, but still not a drive that will make them happy.
Last time they tried a field goal, it was blocked and returned for a touchdown. This one is up and away, and it's good. So Stratford hits from 21 yards out, and the Dolphins stretch the lead 23-12. This is Charlie Jones and Merlin Olsen with 9:21 time remaining third quarter. Dolphins 23, Jets 12. So Yanovich will be kicking off either to Bobby Humphrey or to JoJo Townsell. The Jets of the two would prefer Townsell. Townsell has really been turning the ball well.
Both dangerous receivers, though. Humphrey
from the goal line. Townsell, the lead blocker. And a 25-yard return.
You say that they'd rather get it to Humphrey. Well, that's true. Townsell got a 73-yard kickoff return versus Cleveland, but Humphrey would be returning a lot of kicks if it wasn't for the fact that he is a starting cornerback now, and they want to make sure that he doesn't burn himself out on the kick returns.
Now let's see if the Jets can get something going on offense. First half offensively very strange for New York. Didn't ever get anything going.
Trouble protecting O'Brien, although O'Brien is 8 for 15, 70 yards, not much, very short passes.
Schuler in motion. Bryan rolls out, looks downfield. Sideline pass is there, and he takes it. And he goes to Mickey Schuler, who now has a reception in 82 straight games. 10-minute ticker, third quarter, Denver 28-7 over the Raiders. San Diego in front of Kansas City. That's another upset working. Rams over Green Bay as expected, all in the third quarter. In the baseball, Yankees over Baltimore is the final. Milwaukee defeats Toronto. Those are both finals. In the National League, also finals. New York wins. Cubs win. Philadelphia wins.
That rollout action, Charlie, designed to try and keep O'Brien safe from the rush.
2nd and 3, left flat. Hector. 38-yard line. Gain of 6 and a first down.
That's the
Louis Oliver.
Rookie free safety, Louis Oliver. They're so excited about him and the kind of big hits and the kind of speed he brings that secondary, but they're looking at his right leg. Is it his ankle they're checking? Hard to tell, but
are you ready? I'm trying to peer over.
You're trying to lean over to see. Not easy, Charles. It would appear that it might be the ankle, but we'll wait on that.
First down at the 38-yard line. Drops this one over the middle. 45-yard line. Roger Vick. Gain of 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3. 2nd and 3.
Lifford Hobley, number 29, has gone in to.
There's Mickey Schuler, as we mentioned, the Pro Bowler just a moment ago. That was number 82 on that reception.
He's been relatively quiet today.
Yes, he has. O'Brien, 11 of 18. That's a good number. 89 yards total. That's a bad number. That's not near enough yardage. It's just taking everything that's underneath. 2nd and 3. 3-man rush. Underneath again. Bobble has the first down. He needed 2. He got 3. And that means that 2 now. Listen to this. He now has caught 3 passes in each of his 52 starts. That's unbelievable.
That is an unbelievable stat. Of course, Toon late in reporting, and I can understand why after I saw the numbers that he's going to pull down for the season. Right in the middle of your screen. This is a dangerous play as he breaks back outside. Watch him bobble this ball and give the defenders time to get in tight on it. Boy, that's the time that a receiver really gets leveled when he's trying to bobble and get his hands on that football. He can't even realize where those defenders are coming from.
And he knows it, doesn't he? He wants to get that ball in a hurry. Freeman McNeil.
Charlie, just a quick thought. If you wonder what it feels like to be down there trying to get control of a football as a wide receiver, if you're sitting at home right now, get a baseball bat, hand it to your wife, and stand up, let her hit you a couple of times in the back. Now, get somebody to throw a football and let her stand back there and imagine that she's going to whack you with that baseball bat. That's what these receivers have to go through and still keep their concentration.
I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do either one.
I don't think I'd want to, Charlie.
Neither do I. Don't give anybody any ideas. Deep.
Oh, good play.
30-yard line, yes. And it's Al Toon.
Tuning in.
18 yards, first down. Judson with the tackle.
And they're cutting into a secondary minus that number 1 pick as Oliver's ankle is the problem. A question as to whether he'll be back. Look at Toon. One-on-one on Langford, number 44. And Toon just has such graceful body moves. I asked Langford, I said, is he a physical receiver? He said, not really physical. In a sense, he doesn't push off that much, but he always is under control, and he runs those precise patterns.
Toon, exceptional numbers in his career against the Dolphins. First down at the Miami 27-yard line.
Oh, Cadigan.
The right guard jumping.
Number 66, Dave Cadigan, is in there because of an injury to Dan Alexander, and there have been fisticuffs galore here today.
Yes. And there is Louis Oliver. As Merlin said, they're working on his ankle. Questionable if he will return. And it is against Cadigan, and that costs you 5 yards.
Bob Lundy, the trainer, looks like they may try and put some extra tape on that ankle, but he doesn't look like he is thinking about coming back on the field at this moment. Someone who is getting a chance to play today for Miami that we haven't seen in a long time, John Boza, number 97, is out there right in.
First and 15. 6 minutes, time remaining, third quarter. Jets down by 11. Here's pressure, going deep. Incomplete. Toon again, the intended receiver. Second and 15.
Blitz coming on that play. Jarvis Williams, number 26, is going to come from the left side of your screen at the last moment here, and O'Brien, feeling that pressure and that blitz, unloads the football deep, simply threw it away. Team sacks. Now let's look at these numbers. Last year, the Dolphins had 24. This year, already 13 sacks, 2 of them today. The Jets only 1 on the year. And look at those projections. The NFL record, 72, the 84 Bears.
Projecting out to 88. Is that doable?
Well, no.
It's fumbled. The ball is loose. And O'Brien may be hurt.
Well, we gave you the numbers on the sacks, and we were a little premature. That number will increase right now. Number 99, Graff, coming from this side, and it's the strong safety again, Charlie Jarvis Williams, number 26. You saw him just barely miss the sack moments ago. He didn't miss that time. Not only got the sack, but also forced the fumble.
And Miami thought they had the football. It turns out they didn't.
Seems like everybody's got a little twirl or a spin of some kind.
Rolling the dice.
Well, I don't blame him. You need to celebrate when you have a good play like that. And trainer Bob Reese, quick chat with O'Brien, who's heading for the sideline.
And we have a timeout. That stops the clock. 5:21 is the time remaining. Third quarter. Miami 23, Jets 12. We'll be back in a moment.
If you don't want to slow down on your way home.
It's the right beer now.
If you think having fun means jumping in with both feet.
It's the right beer now.
You realize that in some sports, you can't call a timeout. So call for the silver bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
Coors Light. Yeah, it's the right beer now.
When it comes to hauling, a lot of full-size pickup trucks claim to be the best. But is it the truck with the longest, deepest cargo box? Or is it the truck with the biggest maximum payload? The answer is, it's the truck with both. The big Ford pickup. Ford trucks, the toughest competition we have.
The crowd was chanting defense. There's, you see the ball stripped away and bounced in. I think it might have been Sweeney, the center, who picked it up. Saved the loss of the football anyway.
3rd and 20.
Yes.
It is there. Yes. Cuts back. He's going to score. 37 yards. What a ball game he is having, and the fireworks that we looked for are beginning to happen in the second half.
Joe Walton, who has worn a pained expression during much of this offensive game, gets a chance to celebrate. O'Brien, emotional at that. Did you see that? He said, yeah, we got him there. Here's Toon. Langford has had a tough afternoon trying to cover this man. Boy, that's a perfect pass by O'Brien. Perfect pass.
Capping a 75-yard drive.
Toon's such a crafty runner when he catches that football.
And the extra point is good. And the Jets pull within 4. The official ruling that was not a fumble. He was in the grass. Grasp and control. The play was over, but the drive was not. 23-19. We'll be back in a moment with the kickoff.
Makes this game even more important to both of them.
And here's Mark Logan at the 5. 15, 20, 25. Good return. 34 yards on the return for Mark Logan. Billy Griggs with the stop. Average combined score, the Jets and the Dolphins meet their last 6 games. Average combined score just over 70 points.
You don't get many shots for your defensive highlight roll out of those games, Charlie.
That's right. Here comes Hugo again. 5:01, time remaining, third quarter. On that last touchdown drive of the Jets, Toon 3 receptions, 59 yards in the score, and O'Brien was 6 of 7 for 78 yards. Marino drops this one off to his tight end, Farrell Edmonds. Edmonds wrestled down at the 49-yard line. First down. Bob Greasy has just lost another record to Dan Marino. They're starting to they're continuing to fall.
He is going to own them all if he keeps going.
First game that he played was against Buffalo. And Bob and I worked that together when Bob was with NBC. And he said after that game, he said, I knew all of my records were in trouble.
Well, of course, it was a different team that Greasy played with. You had Zonka and Kick and Mercury Morris. And Don Shula was calling running plays and occasionally would say, okay, Bob, now you can throw a pass.
Right. You're absolutely right. Marino fires this one over the middle. This is Cooper. Head fake inside at the 30, and he's to the 25. 25 yards. James Hasty makes the tackle. And this is the explosion that we expected right from the get-go, but it was from the second half get-go.
The smile on Duper's face tells you how he feels about that. Bobby Humphrey not even coming close, giving the speedy Duper a big cushion, and it's the other cornerback, Hasty, who finally has to pull him down.
At the 22.
Charlie, we talked about the running that used to be done here in Miami. Joe Robbie had an interesting comment about his team. We'll give you a chance to look at it. A man with a sense of humor. He said, our idea of a balanced attack has been the long pass and the short pass. So we sure hope that Mr. Robbie is doing well. And I'm sure that he is enjoying this game, although he's got to be feeling as we do that it has been rather a strange ballgame.
Brass Jensen now 6 receptions, 55 yards, and of course that touchdown pass of 19 yards. Second and 7. And here's Floger. And Mark goes to about the 17, maybe the 16-yard line. It's going to be third down and a little over a yard to go. Gerald Nichols with the tackle.
This is a Jet defense that is really being rebuilt with a lot of young personnel. In fact, that will scare you. Look at that. 10 of 21 defensive players have 2 or less years experience. Now that means you've got a lot of rookies out there on the field, and you've got players out there who are still learning their positions. But it does bode well for the future. I think Ralph Hawkins is saying, come on, future. Come on, future. And so is Joe Walton.
Third and 1. Gibson this time the lead blocker. And Logan needed a yard. It's going to be close.
All depends on the mark. All depends on the mark. Running in again behind Dellenbach and Roy Foster.
They may not have gotten the mark.
Well, Well, and an interesting choice for Don Shula. If they don't have it, they're going to measure. What would he do? Leading 23 to 13? 19. 3 points. Well,
we'll make it official. It looks like it's exactly 2 inches. Is that what you would?
Field goal would give them a touchdown lead.
Well, we missed it.
It was the angle of the camera.
The angle of the camera, yes. It's about a foot.
And he's saying go for it. You saw him.
This is a change of philosophy. We were talking about that. You said that this is, the entire NFL is doing this. They've checked the computers and said this is a better deal.
I think it's a new wave of thinking and an aggressive wave of thinking. And as we mentioned, Shula back in charge of this offense. Hey, when he's on a roll, he's tough. That's the first time this season that Miami's gone for it on 4th down. So
it's a short roll.
Yeah. And maybe the last if he doesn't make it.
That's right.
It may revert.
And there's the motion of Marino and the handoff and the first down with a yard to spare, maybe a yard and a half to spare. Hasty made the tackle, and Mark Logan with the first down.
And of course that
wasn't a gimme though.
No, it wasn't. And Ralph Hawkins, I'm sure pleased that his defenders were in the right place. They just did not get the tackle out there on Mark Logan. Don Shula watching carefully.
Had it all the way. Very confident.
You know what he's doing? What? He's busy thinking about the next play he wants to call.
Next play.
His mind has already jumped 1 or 2 plays ahead.
Marino, 20 of 33, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Career total touchdown passes now at 202. Lost this one incomplete. It was over the head of Farrell Edmonds, who has scored 2 touchdowns. He doesn't like either the read or the call because he's shouting back. You know, he obviously wants a better play. But Edmonds was well covered. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the 14.
Real battle going on down in the trenches between Harry Galbraith and Marty Lyons. Galbraith, they call him Dirty Harry. We saw him stomp somebody earlier.
We know why, yeah.
I'll tell you, Marty Lyons, great story. Absolutely refuses to get old in this game, and it comes quick for you. But Lyons is playing exceptional football and has a great leadership role with this young defense.
Shotgun. Touchdown.
Mark Clayton dropped the second of 3 passes thrown to him and misread the first one, allowing for an interception, and then comes back here in the second half with some great catches. I don't know how you can cover a man better than Bobby Humphrey covered Clayton, but the strength of confidence between the quarterback and the receiver is so strong that he'll throw it there even if the man's covered.
And the extra point is good. And the margin is back to 11 points, 30 to 19. 62-yard drive, 8 plays, 4.5 minutes.
So many quarterbacks faced with this situation would ignore Clayton. And yet, Marino throws the ball and it's in front so that the defender has to try and go through Clayton. Clayton's such a good athlete and surprisingly strong. Refused to give in.
And when we talked to him yesterday, asked him if last week being his first game, was he sore? He said, no, I always stay in great shape. I've been riding the bicycle.
He said he does about 20 miles a day on the bike. There are going to be more guys riding bikes around here, Charlie.
And we would now like to welcome those of you that have been watching the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Raiders. The score there is 28-7 with the Broncos on top. And we'll keep you updated on that game as the score here in Joe Robbie Stadium, with Dan Marino just throwing his 3rd touchdown pass of the ball game. This one to Mark Clayton. He now has 203 in his career. And the score here, Miami 30, the Jets 19, with 29 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. And Mark Clayton now has a touchdown reception in 6 straight games. That ties Paul Warfield's club record. He had 4 touchdowns against the Jets last season, 2 in each game. And Pete Stoyanovich will be kicking off. Humphrey and Titus Dixon are now the deep backs on the return. Or is that Townsell and Dixon? Titus Dixon. 20 yards on the return. And for those of you that just joined us, here is the touchdown from Dan Marino to Mark Clayton.
Marino, eyes downfield. He sees so much of the field. Even though Clayton tightly covered. Well, that's the kind that if you're a defensive coach in the secondary, you can't ask for anything better than that. And we have a player down.
That's Terry Williams on the special teams. And he is being administered to. The clock is stopped now with 18 seconds left to go in this, the third quarter. Miami 30 and the Jets 19. We'll take a break, and we'll be back to Joe Robbie Stadium in just a moment. Jets first down from their own 23. O'Brien looks left, and he looks deep and back over the middle, and he hits Mickey Schuler. And Schuler goes to the 31-yard line. He's got 8 yards. It'll be second down and a couple. Dave Aarons makes the tackle. Terry Williams, who was injured on that last play on the kickoff return, was carried off the field. And as soon as we have a report, we'll pass that on to you as the gun sounds. And that is the end of the third quarter. The score, Miami 30, New York 19.
Larry, higher contracts and deserving higher contracts, I think, and both of them got it.
All right. Does it bother you for the money that you played for and the money that they're now getting? Not that you were a great receiver.
Well, I couldn't
I'm
catch the ball, Charlie. Different time frame entirely. The most money I ever made in my whole life was $110,000.
But that's when $110,000 was $110,000. No.
Well, it was not $1 million, Charlie. I can tell you that. But those numbers and numbers similar to them are one of the reasons that Miami's defense is without a very strong and important player, John Offerdahl. Their 3-year All-Pro, 3-year Pro Bowler, 3-year defensive captain, who is not here and who has refused to come into camp until he renegotiated his contract in his option year.
First down. Little play action fake by O'Brien as pressure, steps away. It's a nice move to Schuler, who's going to be out of bounds when he comes down.
I think they're going to give it to him.
Really?
I think they're going to say he was right on the line before he went out. And Jeff Cross is going to be sick after he sees this.
I want to review this one.
Well, I think they probably will. If we can go back and see the whole play, you'll see. Well, here's the end of the play. This is the part that Charlie wants to see.
Yes. 1, 2. Oh, great move.
Beautifully done. Beautifully done.
Outstanding move. And he did that airborne.
Well, I think, though, that they're going to review it. They've held it for review. Let's go back. And the Jets want to run another play. They said, hey, you can look at it. Let's see the first of the play if we can, though. Here's the first of the play. Jeff Cross came into this game leading the NFL with 4 sacks. He's got a sack right here. There he is, 91. He's got his man. Uh-oh. O'Brien got away. And, boy, that'll just make you sick as a defensive lineman.
All right, again, 1-2. It's a catch. It's a catch for Schuler, but not for Cross.
No.
He wanted to catch the quarterback.
Jeff Cross is from Blythe. He said they got a call.
California.
They got a call from Blythe, California. They don't get any of our Dolphin games out there.
They said, how did he do? He said, got 3 sacks. His mother said, what's that?
What is a sack?
What is a sack? Wide open is Freeman McNeil. McNeil down the sideline. Back-to-back first downs. 26-yard line of Miami. 18 yards, and now the Jets have that offense cranked up again. Greg Clark was the defender for Miami.
You talk to defensive coordinators around the league, and one thing they always say about the Jets, this is always a creative and dangerous offense. They have some outstanding personnel. That is one of those outstanding personnel, Freeman McNeil, along with Al Toon. But the thing that they do, they do so many different things to you, different formations, different motion packages.
First down at the 26. Here's the reverse. Michael Harper. Well defense. Gain of 3. 2nd and 7.
Hugh Green is playing the best football that I've seen him play since he injured his knee a couple of years ago. Did not have a good year last year. Late being signed, that's a little Statue of Liberty play. That's an old-time play, but watch the hustle by number 55, Hugh Green, at the end of that play. Now that's a sprinter he's working on. He has gained a little bit of that speed back, apparently.
2nd and 7. 23-yard line. Play action. Pressure over the middle, has to get rid of it. Oh,
great
good
catch.
juggling catch by Hector. Nice fake touchdown. 23-yard touchdown pass from O'Brien to Hector.
And billboarding this game, we talked about offensive explosion. Early in the game, we didn't see much of it. Here in the second half, this is not the kind of game you want to watch if you're a defensive player.
Extra point is good. 30-26. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
It's the season premiere of Night Court. Harry's got a date with a stewardess, but Dan's trying to get in on the action.
You take domestic, I'll take international.
A record premiere Wednesday.
You've tried the other. Hampton and Logan are the return men. Logan who will take it at the 2. 15, 30. Flag is down. Went out of bounds at the 29. 28 yards, 27 yards on the return possibly, somewhere in that neighborhood. But normally, it goes against the return team.
Illegal block in the back, number 11 offense. 10-yard penalty.
Jim Simpson.
Fresh. Go back to that touchdown play. The Dolphins, trying to put a little pressure on, will bring a linebacker from here. What that does is puts one-on coverage that Rick Graff is going to try and cover Johnny Hector man-to-man, and you can't do that. You just can't do it. The linebacker man-to-man is not going to be able to get a coverage on him. You see right there, great athletic catch, and Hector, who's been criticized by his coaches, held out, came in. They said he wasn't in shape. Looked good on that play.
They've been working out 30 minutes twice a week. Not enough. Reno with lots of time. Fire, sideline, pass is there, complete. Clayton, 15 yards. Hasty had the cover. 10-minute ticker. Denver still leading the Raiders 28-7. San Diego in front of Kansas City. Green Bay closing a little bit on the Rams. In the National League, Montreal 6-5. Cubs win. St. Louis 2-1 over Philadelphia. And in the American League, Yankees win. And we come back to our score, 30-26. Logan pops through 40. Maybe a first down. Eric McMillan with the tackle.
Huge hole ripped open as you watch from behind. Brown blocking inside, but cutting back against the grain. They were able to shut Marty Lyons off. Paul Fraze had overplayed to the inside. Edmonds doing a good job. I'll tell you, one thing I wouldn't want to see 6'7" with a crossbody block coming at me.
Defensively, Alex Gordon has not been in for the last 3 series. Could be a leg injury is the report that we have. Joe Mott, the rookie, has replaced him. First down. Reno's pass is complete to Stratford. And next Sunday, join NBC Sports for more great football beginning at 12:30 Eastern with NFL Live. Some of you will see the Jets take on Eric Dickerson and the Coast. The Dolphins will be making a visit to the House of Fame to battle Warren Moon and the Houston Oilers, plus regional action. So check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Report on Alex Gordon, a sprained knee. It is swelling, and he is questionable. We are still awaiting the report on Terry Williams, who was assisted off. He is out with a sprained knee also. And Marino goes outside. Sideline pass. Has it out of bounds. 42-yard line. Now, one thing that Marino is doing is using that side. We got another fight. We've got a fight back at the 42 with 2 flags going down. Quickly to finish that thought, Marino, Dan, get out of there when they're fighting. Don't get it wrong.
What is he going to do in there?
He's using the sideline, and he is keeping time on the clock because he figures the more time he has, the more points he can score. They've got that kind of confidence.
61, Roy Foster, the man pulled out.
The down counts, the play counts. We have offsetting unnecessary roughness call.
I'm not sure I like that offsetting call. We had a couple of those in the ball game. I think you got to pick out something. Maybe they could use a replay official, see who started the fight.
Pretty hard to do, Charlie. Sometimes it starts in one area and finishes in another, but I'm one who doesn't like it either. And I think you have to get a little tougher at times and perhaps throw both the guys out to make it stick.
And now he's either a peacemaker or he wants part of the action. We're not sure about Dan. Oh, no, he's a peacemaker.
I think Gary Stevens better talk to him and tell him, Dan, when those boys are fighting, just step aside. Somebody's going to step on you out there.
First down, Miami at the New York 42. Play action fake. Go sideline again. Ooh. Now they're setting this up. And a flag. That's Duper.
Talking to Hasty.
Now that's 3 times he keeps coming back to that sideline. Are we going to have a sideline with a little hitch and go?
Hitch and go, very.
We'll tack it off from the end of the line. It'll be a first down.
We saw earlier an occasion when Duper had gone to the mask of Hasty, pushed him in the mask and got away with it. Well, obviously Hasty remembered as Duper goes outside here. Yeah. Well, not a deliberate pull at it, but he did get his hand on the mask. You see it going right around the head, right there, and the official right on the sideline, the one who pulled the hanky on that play, and Hasty tagged with a 5-yard penalty.
Now at the New York 24-yard line, first down. The margin is 4 points. Miami 30, the Jets 26. 11 and a half time remaining. Here's Logan. To Stratford.
Stratford again. No,
it's Mark Logan. It was Mark Logan. For over 50 years, NBC Sports has covered the great game of baseball like no other. We captured the historic milestones and touching moments. We brought unforgettable pictures into America's living room. Next Saturday, share some of these wonderful memories with NBC on a special half-hour edition of Major League Baseball Game of the Week. Then baseball's great pennant race comes right down to the wire. The Cardinals battle the Cubs, and the Orioles take on the Blue Jays. The final weekend of the regular season next Saturday on NBC. Second down. Here's Farrell Edmonds. And the tree himself is to the 8-yard line. It'll be first down and goal to go, and he is hard to topple. I'm sorry I said that. I really am. I tried not to.
I'm going to ignore it, Charles.
Good.
You can't ignore Farrell Edmonds if you're in that Jets secondary. A huge target, great speed. He's done a much better job with his hands. He's running better patterns. He's gained the confidence of Dan Marino, and he has been a major factor in this game today.
And he has 5 of 60 and 2 touchdowns.
This is certainly a depleted Jets secondary. Only 7 healthy backs, and 2 of those signed late this week. They have problems, Charlie.
Knocked down. Good defensive play. That was George Radachowski who scored the 75-yard touchdown on the blocked field goal in the first half. Edmonds, the intended receiver, will be second down and goal to go at the 8-yard line.
Mike Falconer, the coach of this Jets secondary, has to just be in agony. They signed Carl Howard after they cut him a week ago and brought back Kerry Glenn, who hasn't played for them in a couple of years, to try and add some depth. But with Terry Williams out of the ball game, they're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 healthy defensive backs if you don't count the 2 that just barely signed.
Second half possession. Everybody is putting points on the board in the second half. Logan. 5-yard line. Third down and goal to go. I'm surprised Marino not just firing in the end zone. I'm surprised that they're running at this point in the field.
Yeah, they're trying to mix it up, and that's one thing that Don Shula does so very well. He really has a great feel for not only attacking a defense, but also using the offensive weapons that he has available to him.
Marino has thrown for 358 yards. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Gibson is in, 10th play of the drive. Throwing back underneath the coverage to Clayton at the 3-yard line. Now let's go to New York and Bob Costas.
All right, Charlie, as you watch the Dolphins, number 13, drive Miami toward the end zone. Here's the Raiders, number 13, Jay Schrader, trying to get Los Angeles back in the game. They trailed 28-0 at halftime in Denver, but now it's 28-14 after this 75-yard hookup to Mervin Fernandez. Still plenty of time left. Charlie and Merlin.
The Raiders trying to get back into that one, and this one, it's still on the bubble.
I wonder who called that play. Al Davis up in the box to call that bomb?
Of course. Of course. 20-yard field goal is up, and it is good. And we've got a timeout, and we'll be back with the kickoff in a moment.
That new Eagle Talon must have cost you plenty.
Not really.
Come on.
No, I got it for under 13.
You mean I can get that car for under 13?
No way. Get your own.
You know, a lot of my friends are really amazed at all the...
5 and 506 jeans.
This is Charlie Jones and Merlin Olsen. Joe Robbie Stadium. The sun is setting in Miami. And we've got a game with a 7-point differential, 33-26. Bobby Humphrey and JoJo Townsell set to return the kickoff to Pete Stoyanovich, the rookie out of Indiana. He's been having a problem with his kickoffs going deep. He gets this one into the end zone, and Humphrey's going to run it out. He's to the 15, 17-yard line. He'll get 19 on the return. Lippert Hobley with the tackle.
Humphrey grabbing his knee. We just talked moments ago about the difficulties that the Jets have had in their secondary. And, of course, Bobby Humphries is a starting left corner.
And he's also lost his backup, Terry Williams.
Terry Williams out of this game already. Bob Reese quickly over there. Your trainer becomes your most valuable player at times like these. The Jets have got to be asking, when does this stop? Ralph Hawkins, who just took over as the defensive coordinator, you've got to be saying, wait a minute, we need players. Here we are. They're losing it. We're losing them one at a time. Pulled to the ground from behind. Ooh, and that leg just kind of rocked back up underneath him.
That right leg got caught underneath the body when it came down.
There is some give to this kind of turf. Obviously, a natural turf is going to be pinned that way. Better on a natural turf than an artificial turf.
8 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. First down, Miami 26, Jets 16. Little out pattern. Michael Harper has it. William Judson with the tackle. They'll spot it at the 24-yard line, gain of 7. 2nd and 3. Today's telecast presented by Authority, the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Miami Dolphins and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins. All rights reserved. 2nd and 3. Double tight end. McNeil, the remaining back. Schuler's in motion. Play action. The Giants chase. Now he throws downfield. It's there. Has to be tuned. It is at the 47-yard line. 23 yards. First down.
We talked about sacks, a new word to be used here in Miami. Here's Cross right in the middle of your screen. Let's just turn him loose and watch him go inside. Now watch what happens to him. Mike Haight going to tackle him from one side, and he's going to get tackled on the outside by Jeff Criswell. Not much of a chance, but you see why they have to fear him as a pass rusher. Very, very quick off the ball.
And a nice spin move.
Nice spin move. 4 sacks coming into this game. Missed one in this game to would have given him 5.
Roger Vick, just a yard. And now let's go to New York City. Here's Bob Costas and an update. Bob?
Charlie, you may recall that last year in Denver, the Raiders trailed 24-0, came back and won 30-27 in overtime. In this game, they were down 28-0. It's now 28-21 after an Elway fumble is scooped up by Lyndon King. He runs it in from 15 yards out. The Raiders are down by only a touchdown, still 5 minutes left. Charles?
Well, the fat lady is not singing yet in Denver because that sucker's not over yet.
Dan Reeves has got to be shaking his head and saying, not again.
2nd and 9. And this pass complete at the 45, maybe the 46-yard line, gain of 5. It is Schuler who has the reception and Rodney Thomas. And we have a report on Bobby Humphrey that he's okay. We'll be back in the ball game. We'll spot the ball at the 45-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
Mickey Schuler, such an important receiver in this scheme of do everything tight end and very, very dependable hands.
5.5 minutes to go, 3rd and 3. Key play.
Where do you go? I don't know, Charlie. They just went to Schuler. He's the pass guy you want to go to. We might see a run play here out of this shotgun. Nope. Oh,
Toon wanted to lateral it off and decided not to.
I should have guessed.
They had a hook and go set up, and Toon, either he had too much pressure, he's going to pick up 20 yards, has the first down, but he was looking for Freeman McNeil for the hook and go. 26-yard line.
See if you can pick out McNeil as he breaks down the sideline.
No, it's Hector. No, it's McNeil.
I think it's McNeil.
Yeah.
He is on the outside, and Langford just got a hold of him as he was going to flip that ball out. He decided wisely so not to do it.
First down at the 26. Going back a screen, that'll be incomplete. Rolling and looking left and coming back to Freeman McNeil with just a little short screen on that right side, and waiting there was Dave Aarons.
Ball arrived at the same time that Aaron's helmet arrived, and that's not good for Freeman McNeil.
Was Aarons in the huddle? Did you notice?
No, he
wasn't,
but he might as well have been. Miami's defense, much like the new philosophy of the Jets defense, is to try and keep everything in front of you, to limit the number of big plays. Jets right now taking advantage of those cushions to move the ball down the field.
Over the middle, and it's Toon. Nice move inside. Heads for the sideline at the 12-yard line, 16 yards. And you know what happened? Al Toon has taken over this ball game, and he's a little slow. Maybe he just wants to catch his breath. He has actually taken over the whole offense.
Well, he certainly is doing everything right at this point, and he's such a crafty runner with that football, breaking outside, surprisingly fast. The reason he doesn't look as fast as he is because he's so long. Takes those big strides, and he has not gotten up. Charlie, one thing that may be bothering him, having held out the preseason, having been injured, he injured that shoulder. He injured his shoulder earlier. I wonder if maybe he didn't come down on that shoulder again. He missed the game because of that.
O'Brien, end zone, tipped. Is it caught? No.
Oh, it was in the hands of the receiver momentarily and then batted away.
Langford was there for the defense. JoJo Townsell.
JoJo Townsell had that ball bounce into his hands, but then swatted away by a second defensive back. They're trying to work on those safeties again. O'Brien getting it into the end zone. Boy, he went down hard. Well, maybe we'll have a chance to show you the end of that play later on, but we'll get it back to you.
2nd and 10, 4:09 time remaining. Jets trail by 7. Toon back in the ball game, right at the goal line, not in, but it's a first down. It'll be first down and goal to go.
Toon is getting a little tired.
Shades of Kevin Winslow when he took over that ball game and San Diego played Miami here in the heat.
Well, and certainly the same kind of pass that moments ago got a touchdown for the Miami Dolphins. Toon had 4 Dolphin defenders standing around him. Toon for the day, 9 receptions, 149 yards. Well, there's an offensive explosion.
Yeah.
He's got to be tired, though.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Guess you're tired just looking at it.
Said the holdout didn't bother him.
All right.
Holdout didn't bother him, but the heat and humidity here will put the pressure on you.
The replay, the call stands. With the 30-second clock operator, put 15 seconds back on the clock.
We're going to 45. Now, they're just checking to see where the ball ended up.
Please put 15. Okay, thank you.
All right, we just have 15 seconds on the clock, but that's not going to bother O'Brien. He's got a play called. He's ready to go. First and goal at the 1.
To pull within 1.
Touchdown.
Johnny Hector has his second touchdown of the ball game. And now only an extra point separates the Jets and the Dolphins.
You're wondering why the Jets did not win many preseason games. Hector was gone. Toon was gone. Well, they're back today.
Pat Leahy for the tie with 3:22 left. He's got it. Jets 33, Miami 33, 3:22, time remaining.
Shades, Charlie, of that great 51-45 overtime game in the Meadowlands. We're tied up here.
Well, what is your perception of life?
Overtime games in 1981, 1986, and 1987. Will today be number 4. Mark Logan on the far side, Lorenzo Hampton on the near side, set to return the kickoff of Pat Leahy. It is Logan. He's going to down it. They'll bring it out to the 20. At the beginning of our telecast, we talked about the explosion that takes place, the fireworks between these two teams. 66 points have been scored, and we don't have a decision.
Somebody slipped some Mickey to the defenses, I'm sure, before these games, Charlie, because we've had so many outstanding offensive plays, a few on the defensive side, but boy, I'll tell you that after a slow start, they're sizzling offensively, both teams.
A sputtering first half, and Indy 500 in the second half. Marino from the shotgun. Duper. He's to the 40, cut from behind, flag down. He'll have 43 yards plus the penalty, and it's going to be on Carl Howard.
Carl Howard reached in and grabbed the mask, and that could be a 15-yarder. That's the second face mask penalty called on Jet defenders trying to take Duper down.
Got a personal foul.
Yeah, 15 yards.
Face mask penalty from the end.
The difference
and a first down
on that penalty is that he actually used the mask to try and make the tackle. You'll see it at the end of this play. Howard reaches in right there, grabs the mask, and jerks the head down. That's a flagrant use of the mask, 15-yard penalty.
So with the play and penalty, Miami moves from their own 20 to the New York 42-yard line. 37 yards total.
Mark Duper, who had an off year on and off the field last year, appears to have his act in order here today in Miami.
Sweep right side, Stratton. Flag is down. 38-yard line if it stands. I'm wondering if Miami is figuring they have 3 timeouts, the Jets have 2. I wonder if part of their thinking right now is we want to score, but we don't want to score too soon. We want to take as much time off of that clock as possible now with 2:58. We want to leave the Jets as little time as
number
possible.
80 offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Holding on the tree, Farrell Edmonds, the tight end, who has scored 2 touchdowns in the ballgame. 6'6", 250-pounder.
4.6 speed. Look out. They're making him bigger and taller and faster and stronger. I know that. Number 80, middle of your screen.
Yeah, he slid down, and he almost tried to tackle. That arm just took the legs out from under him.
Ken Rose, number 92, blew across there very quickly. I think he just tried to strip him down.
First and 20. Time remaining 2:58. Tie ball game, 33-33. Fires, intercepted. James Hasty has the interception. His second of the ball game.
You think James Hasty is excited or what? He is pumped up. The moment when it appeared that Marino and the Dolphins had things moving in their direction, marching down the field. Big play defensively. James Hasty. Hasty known to gamble. He's a big play or big bust kind of guy. The gamble pays off here. Clayton a little slow coming out of that cut. But Hasty read the pattern beautifully and just cut the angle and snapped that ball away from Mark Clayton.
Now the Jets in control. 2:48 time remaining. At the 41. Little swing left side. And here's Freeman McNeil. And McNeil to the 33. It's going to be second down and a little over a yard. Turnovers 2 for the Jets. Miami 3. Now the Jets facing the same situation as Miami. You want to score, but not too soon. You don't want to put the ball back in Marino's hands.
Exactly, Charlie.
And there are the timeouts. Jets 2, Miami 3. Seems like it's more official when it appears on the bottom of the screen. Yes, we got that one right.
Certainly dramatic.
Yes.
Living up to all the expectations of those who've come to look for these games to light up the scoreboard.
And Ken O'Brien today has his 12th 300-yard game. And we take the countdown to the 2-minute warning. And we'll be back with a final 2 minutes, maybe overtime. But we'll all find out together.
A moment ago, it could happen for the Jets if they're not careful. And there are 21 players on this team out of 47 with 3 years or less experience for the Jets. A lot of young players for Miami, too, but an awful lot for the Jets.
And again, the Jets, obviously, they do want to score, but not too soon, because if you give Marino the football, he could kill you.
Don't want to give it back to Marino with much time on the clock. You saw what he did at the half.
Yes. You know, 99 yards, ended up with a Hail Mary that was successful. And here's Roger Vick. And he did not want to go out of bounds, but he does, and that stops the clock. 1:54. But he does
the first down, you bet.
Yes.
Maybe wouldn't mind seeing him go down in bounds, but you're sure glad to see those yardsticks move. 1:54 on the clock. Miami is going to have to start using its timeouts.
First down at the 23. O'Brien playing with a broken little toe on his left foot. Has a guard on it. Having one of his finest outings of the year. Coon. Stay it down. There he goes out. Almost the 10-yard line. He's got the first down.
Greg Cook, number 60, pushing Toon out of bounds, but Toon, like his counterpart Clayton, showing you why he is the highest paid receiver in the NFL. Little dance on the sideline. Langford, I'm sure, getting tired of that. And there's Aarons, or not Aarons, but Cook driving him out.
Also, a couple of minor mistakes, though, by Roger Vick and by Al Toon, because if they would have stayed in bounds, they could have cost Miami either a timeout or they could run off another 30, 40 seconds off the clock just by staying in bounds.
Charlie, I should correct that. That's Greg Clark. I don't know why I want to call him Cook today. I've done it a couple of times. Good play inside.
Johnny Ector, who has scored a pair of touchdowns, and Greg Clark with the tackle.
Along with Aarons, Dave Aarons, 2 linebackers in the middle.
And Miami takes the timeout. O'Brien in the second half, 18 of 21. He has thrown for 249 yards in the second half. We're tied at 33, just over a minute and a half remaining. We'll be back in a moment. The Jets threaten.
Call this toll-free number.
As we went away, I was talking about Ken O'Brien. First half, second half. Al Toon, first half, 2 receptions, 21 yards. Second half, 8 receptions, 138 yards.
That's a season for some receivers.
That's right. Second down, 11-yard line. Play action. Roger Vick. And he starts the celebration with a minute 29 remaining.
If we were to have been in the Meadowlands, the crowd would have gone crazy. But here, an eerie silence.
Pat Leahy. It's good. The margin is 7. The Jets lead. We'll be back in just a moment.
Free action.
Get a hold of one.
This is Charlie Jones, Merlin Olsen. As we are back.
Chance to go back and look at that play. Roger Vick right here, and watch these linebackers. They're going to get held briefly by the play action. Little pass right to the outside here, and Roger Vick, once he breaks past the linebackers, right there, nobody even looking at him. Play action pass. Dave Aarons, the man trying to pick him up. Roger Vick all alone when it counted.
1:29, time remaining. Mark Logan on the far side and Lorenzo Hampton on the near side, set to return the kickoff of Pat Leahy. Logan. 26-yard line, 25 yards on the return. And how did the Jets celebrate? Oh, very understated. A little understated, though.
Did you see Joe Walton tap his stomach? Yeah. Maybe a little gas. Yeah. This second half may have developed a little gas for him. I don't blame him for feeling relieved after that play. Now it's up to this wounded Jet defense. We talked about how many of them have gone down to injuries. Bobby Humphries is out there. We were worried about him, but this is a very thin secondary.
Marino, 1:22 remaining. And it's dropped by Jensen. Something you almost never see. Marino now 29 of 46. He's thrown for 386 yards, 3 touchdowns, pair of interceptions. O'Brien at this point, 27 of 37, 329 yards, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. That gets rid of all the numbers. Now let's get back to the game.
It might be worth recreating that brilliant drive that Marino put together just before the half, Charlie.
99 yards in 7 plays.
7 plays, ending with a Hail Mary for a touchdown. So this is plenty of time for Marino and company.
It is there and out of bounds to stop the clock. Mark Duper.
Having had a chance to do that great game between these two teams in the Meadowlands back in '86, game in which Wesley Walker, who's absent here today, scored 4 touchdowns, scored the tying touchdown, came back with a winning touchdown. That game, I felt like I was watching a tennis match, left and right, up and down the field. And also had a chance to do the great game here in Miami that Duper came back after a Jets touchdown and won with a 50-yard bomb. There's been some real classics.
Your string continues.
Yeah, we're here again, and first down. That man's string continues too.
And Marino now has taken Miami into Jet territory.
And has taken a timeout.
1:04, time remaining. Jets 40, Miami 33. We're going to keep it here. And discussions, heated discussions now, should be held on both sides. Heated from an intensity. Oh, that was heated. Yes.
Ralph Hawkins. He's saying, don't let them get behind you. Kyle Clifton, hey, come on, we need some heat in there.
Meanwhile, on the near side of the stadium, Marino has finished his conversation. Gary Stevens.
Silent crowd.
Yes, it is.
The anticipation here.
Gary Stevens, the quarterback coach. Have you to check up on all the scores, particularly the ones that interest you, as we set the stage here for the last minute and 4 seconds. Marino has a total of 212 plays to choose from. And he pitched one that's successful. That's Stratford. 41-yard line.
Not bad for a guy with a bad knee and a bad ankle. Stratford, injured last week, called himself the healthiest of the wounded, has had a wonderful game here today for Miami.
Marino with good quickness goes deep. It's there. Defensive play is made. Duper and Hasty.
Marino
wins.
hit just as he delivered that football. The ball slightly underthrown. And at the point that this football arrives, the two players reverse roles. Duper becomes the defensive back, and Hasty the receiver. Boy, you see that shot taken in Cofield, driving, but there's the end of the play. Now Duper, reaching back in, strips the hands out, just as a good defensive back will do, Charlie.
It's 3rd down and 3. So, of course, 2 more downs to pick up the first down and continue the drive. 40 seconds left. Marino now has his 11th 400-yard game. And the first down at the 33-yard line. And the clock is moving.
31 seconds. 30 seconds.
Stratford with the reception, holding his back. And now, that's legal, of course. It's in the rule. You step back, you just ground it immediately, and there's Stratford.
There was no time to take anybody off the field, and Marino's saying, I didn't have any choice. Save a timeout, he says. We got to save a timeout. He's been there before.
Defensive coaches are always more emotional than offensive coaches.
Well, I tell you, for a young defensive coordinator, this has been a real test. The injuries, the problems, and of course, the Miami Dolphin offense.
New York 40, Miami 33. The margin is 7. A touchdown, an extra point. Catch of a ball that is dropped.
Duper.
Martin Clayton.
Or Clayton, number 83, and Clayton, who had dropped several to open this game, and yet has come back to make some brilliant catches, simply tried to run with that one before he tucked it away.
The quarterback comparisons. This is a game that we could number to death, and we almost have. Clayton is 6 of 58 in the touchdown.
300-plus yards, impressive because of O'Brien's numbers in the first half were not impressive. He has put it together here in the second half.
3rd and 10. The Jets defense stretches all the way to the goal line.
3-man rush.
Reno throws back, and it is incomplete.
Clayton again. 2 drops back-to-back by Clayton. And I'd asked Dan Marino 2 days ago when I got a chance to talk to him. I said, how long did it take to get the timing back with Clayton after the holdout? He said, we missed some last week because we weren't quite in sync. I've got to feel that perhaps that would have an impact in this situation as 2 very critical passes are dropped. And it's now or never for the Miami Dolphins.
And they take their last time out with 10 seconds left. And we'll be back to watch the outcome of the ball game.
With the latest technology, align your car right. You see, we're serious about safety. Hey, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
The score, the time remaining, 4th down.
You play for 3.5 hours. It comes down to one play.
Again, it is tipped. It is tipped again. It is incomplete. And the celebration has started for the Jets. Their first victory as Miami had a Hail Mary, successful at the end of the first half, unsuccessful with a pair of tips at the end of the ball game. The final score, the Jets 40, the Dolphins 33. We'll be back in just a moment.